Welcome to How to Drink Live. Thank you so much for coming to my bar. And I can't believe how many people showed up and how fast you guys came in. That's a very fast chat room, friends. I don't know how good I'm going to be able to keep up with that. I'll do my best. I'm going to do my best. This is pretty wild. So, yeah, things are a little bit different. Let me just give you a quick rundown of why we are live today. It went by in a blink, and somebody said they only see 16 people. There's 1,300 people in here right now, as far as I can tell. Hello, how are you? I have a screen over here that is just flying by. Jeffrey E. Patron says, cheers, stay safe, y'all. Thank you very much, Jeff. And Cole Evans says, absolute legend, couldn't miss this for the world. And you know what? This is the first time I've ever done live on YouTube in a long time. And it's definitely the first time I've ever I've done it. Well, I've been on Twitch for a while. Thank you so much, Namari. Those help, by the way. Just as for the record, the super chat is way more readable to my eye. I've made the font as big as I can. It's a 27-inch monitor. It's about 6 feet away from my face. It's tough to read. Thank you guys so much for coming by. Why are we live instead of pre-recorded? Well, a lot of you are aware that there's a crew involved in producing How to Drink. And unfortunately, we're all under quarantine, shelter in place, and social distancing guidelines at present. So at some point, and that answer is not yet, I am going to run out of pre-recorded content for the show. That's not a big deal. We're going to adapt and overcome in a number of ways, one of which is potentially live streams. I've been doing live shows on Twitch for a little while now. If you are into this, I mean, hey, you should swing by my Twitch. The URL is right below you. It is twitch.tv/Greg from HTD. Thank you so much for that. So what am I doing today? There's this drink that's been in the news. A lot of people are, a hashtag. It's a hashtag. It's a trend. It's a thing. Everybody's making quarantinis. And so I think that in the spirit of a quarantini is the quarantine drink that you make with the ingredients you have at home. Wow, trying to keep up with that. Day drinking, best drinking, says Dennis. Ian Schulzeberger, can you give me a next drink? It's been an old-fashioned aviation. Moscow Mule. Guys, I'm going to come to this chat room in a minute. Let me get through my spiel. Okay, so this is wild. So the quarantini is, we're tearing it up on the internet, and I thought there should be a how to drink answer to a quarantini. Now, this probably won't be your quarantini. Also, by the way, you may notice there's a microphone in the shot. That's kind of unavoidable with the present conditions of live streaming technology. But I promise you won't be disappointed with the level of technology in this live stream. This is a fully operational multi-camera battle station. So my quarantini is a bit like it's a variation on a bee's knees, because I think about how I want honey and lemon in a drink that is, speaking of lemons, did I bring my lemons and limes? Guys, I left my lemons and my limes in the next room, and I thought I was all set to do this, but I'm going to have to step away from the camera for 5 seconds to get the lemons and limes in a minute. It's okay. It's not a big deal. I don't have an extra pair of hands because we're all alone. It is all alone. We're all alone together. Be alone together. Stay home together. That's what they're saying, right? So my quarantini is going to be a gin, honey, and lemon drink with just a little extra something that I like, a little homey flavor, something I find really good with all those flavors too, a little drambuie. I really like this. It brings a little bit of scotchy smokiness and sweetness to it that kind of elevates it for me into something like a cold toddy. So that's what we're going to make. And then what I want to do is I'm going to take lists of ingredients from you guys at home, and I'm going to be in and out of the room because I don't have everything within arm's reach. So you're going to have to bear with me. I hope that the YouTube crowd is cool with that. Twitch is way down with that. It's fine. But we're going to make some quarantinis based on ingredients you give me from home, whatever you guys have back there. So let's make my quarantini, and I have a button I can push. I got a button. I got a whole panel of buttons over here. And I'm going to push this button that says be right back. And it's going to go to this nice little video, B-roll, that you're probably going to enjoy. And I'll be right back. And that's what we do. I'm just preparing you so you know what to expect. It's not weird. It's totally normal. That's how this operates. I'm going to go get my lemons and my limes. We're going to come back. We're going to make a quarantini. And I will be right back. Please don't go anywhere. tell your mom, tell your dad, stay at home together remotely over the internet. Be right back. And I'm back. I told you it was going to be a short one. They were already ready to come to set. They were ready to come to the bar. I just didn't have them at hand. A couple of other things you're going to notice that'll be different about the live version of the show that are not going to be seen on the regular show. I'm going to have my phone on me. That's because Meredith, who you sometimes hear me talking to off camera, she's actually in the room moderating and helping me spot some really important messages. So occasionally I may have to look at my phone so that I can keep up with this. I've also got a computer, mouse, and a keyboard so that I can, if I need to, interact with some things over there because I'm my own tech director today. And if you don't know what a tech director is, you should look it up. That'd be a cool thing. Okay, so for my quarantini, there we go, jigger, and that one, and where's my shaker? Where'd I put my shaker? Okay. You guys are gonna get to see all of the nitty gritty that goes into an episode of How to Drink. Okay. So for me, a quarantini starts with an ounce of lemon. You guys like that? You like these close-ups? What do you think? You think this is cool or what? Is that neat? We can do that? Cool. Check this out. I'm just a little slow with it, that's all. So I'm going to use an ounce of lemon juice here, being very careful to not splash it all over my mouse and keyboard. Oh, yeah, I'm working on it. Working on getting that mouse and keyboard. We're working on it. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Into the trash bin, and I'll bring in my tin here. And into the tin it goes. Boom. Alrighty. Back to the bar shot. And my next ingredient... Did you wash hands? Yes, I did wash hands. Do you want me to bring a camera up to the bathroom with me? Don't answer that because I already know the answer. Okay, next thing is 1 ounce of honey syrup. This is, normally I would say that my honey syrup is 1-to-1. In this case, I kind of, this is honey mixed with water, but not in a 1-to-1 ratio. It's more like 2 parts honey to 1 part water. I was really kind of going for as much honey to water as possible while making it still pourable. So basically I added water to it, kept shaking and shaking and shaking it while I was adding water, and when it was pourable, I stopped, okay? And so check out, I'm sorry, I'm still getting used to this switchboard I built. Check out this shot. Whoa, that's not one we even normally have on the show. Okay, 1 ounce of honey syrup, cool. One thing that's tricky, live slow motion, not gonna happen. Sorry guys, it's beyond my capabilities. I'm gonna use 1/2 ounce of my jambouille. Okay. Where is it, Bork? I want bigger buttons. I just want gigantic buttons. Meredith says, you guys say I should stop touching my face, and I say, no! That's why I'm staying indoors. I can't stop touching my face. It's impossible. How would you do that? Who could stop touching their face? Okay, so everything but the gin is in here. Oh, back to the bar. And we're going to go with aviation gin. This is some fantastic information that I want to share with you guys right now. So... here's the deal. I just saw that I happen to have a couple of bottles of aviation gin, and I switched it. I was going to use Ford's, and I was like, nope, we're going aviation now. That Ryan Reynolds is supporting the USBG, US Bartenders Guild. The US Bartenders Guild has a COVID-19 rapid response grant that they are currently in the process of doling out to out-of-work bartenders and barbacks and servers. Anybody who works at a place with a liquor license that works in the preparation or service of alcoholic drinks. Okay, that's a lot of people. These are people who work for tips. They have a minimum wage of something like $2.13 an hour, and it's a joke, which means that their reported income, when it comes down to, what do you call it, unemployment, is going to be atrocious. They have rent due. They need money fast. I mean, a lot of people do. And of course, I'm not going to insist that if you are in a position to help anybody else out, where you send your money, but something to keep in mind, right? The U.S. Bartenders Guild is putting money directly into the hands of people who are put out of work by our present shutdown. 30%, I think, I may be misquoting Ryan Reynolds here. I should just totally misquote him, hope we go viral and enforce his hand, right? No, I'm pretty sure that 30% of all purchases of aviation gin are going to the USBG. Jameson sent them some money. Diageo is in on it, and also so are we. We are encouraging you to the ability, to your level of ability, to the ability that you can. Please go to the USBG using the link below, which I'm hoping is working. It is, and find your way through to the donation thing. I'm actually in the process of getting them set up on Tiltify, and this is something that I want to continue to build and expand through Twitch. So. If today's not your day, that's okay. I'm hoping we can make this happen. Hashtag shift to shift, because a lot of people, I have all the graphics for this. I don't have any of the graphics for that, but a lot of people are working paycheck to paycheck. In the service industry, people are working shift to shift. A missed shift or a bad shift means you don't make your rent. So again, I mean, and for the record, to these grants, this isn't a permanent solution. It's not, they're not going to be able to keep people afloat forever. It's about making the next round of payments for people. And they're doing a lot of work there. Eventually, I think that ultimately the federal government is going to have to step in because, it wasn't necessary. A lot of people are going to fall through the cracks and have a really hard time otherwise. So, 2 ounces of aviation gin. I suppose we can go to the close-up. 2 ounces of aviation gin. As you guys see just how accurate my pouring really is. It's not. Okay. That is the drink, as they say. And I hope that my pitch to the USBG was really inspiring. I hope that we did a good thing there. We'll be talking about that again throughout the stream, I promise. Okay. Another thing you don't see a lot on the show. I wipe down the bar a lot. You guys probably don't see that on the show that much. I cut that out. I got my ice down here in my handy-dandy ice bin. I've also got some supplies. I don't normally allow anybody to store food in my ice bin, but under the conditions, we have some frozen pasta, a loaf of bread. You can freeze bread? You can freeze a loaf of bread. This is good advice, just good life advice. Freeze your bread. It comes out of the toaster even better. Don't even thaw it. Just take it frozen, throw it in the toaster. Okay. I had a little freezer accident a couple weeks ago, which resulted in a lot of my ice kind of melting together, which is why I've got my ice knife right here. I'm just going to, boom, like that, and bar close-up. Okay. My mistake. Big tin, thank you. Big piece of ice, and some people ask me how hard is it to crack ice like that. It's actually, if the ice comes straight out of the freezer, not hard at all. Just takes a few taps, like so. And do I scoop up ice off of my bar and throw it into my shaker? Yes, I do. It's my bar, it's my drink. Okay. Put that together. Bad practice. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to slam it and do that. It's just like a weird habit I picked up, and I'm not supposed to do that. I'm trying to break myself of it. So I have to address that. Okay. And I've got a glass here. It should be chilled. It's not chilled. We don't usually chill when I'm shooting my show, I don't normally chill the glassware because it clouds up and I don't always want that look. Sometimes I'll chill it, sometimes I won't. If I have liquid nitrogen, we chill it a lot because it's fun. Bar close-up. Nobody is in the in here with me to do graphics, so you're going to have to imagine the letters, the text of this of these tasting notes hanging out with me on here. This is my answer to a quarantini. Oh, I'm so sorry. It needs a garnish. It's got to have a garnish, right? Let's grab a lemon. I think this needs just a. What can we do that would be fun? Let's take a pull here of lemon. Stash that back there for later. Move these guys to the side. Just teetering dangerously, precariously on the edge of my bar here. And we'll go to, check this out too. We can do this. We can do a picture in picture. It makes my life a lot easier because that way if I forget to switch back, it's not really a big deal, right? And then I think I want to do something like this, like a little split, a little fringe, baby. I'm going to curl it up. Curl. Cool. And whoa, grabbing the knife by the blade. Unwise, bro. And then a little tiny slash here. I'm not like some kind of a garnish wizard. As a matter of fact, I would say that my garnish game is pretty terrible. So I'm actually hoping that this sucker works the way I want it to. Find that kind of opening it. There you go. Ah! See what I mean? There you go. Yeah. My quarantini right there. I'm actually pretty proud of that. What do you think? Okay. Now for the tasting notes of the quarantini. I love that, actually. That is wonderful. That combination of drambuie and honey, they go together, and lemon is so nice together. So nice. It's unbelievably nice. It actually, there's no egg white or anything like that, but somehow they conspire to create a sensation. See, I told you I was a bad garnisher. We're going to ditch the garnish. They conspire to create a texture. It's creamy in a way. It's kind of interesting. Can we have the Cosmo again? Maybe. I got to think about that. This is a little bit smoky, just the faintest hint of smoke. If you like smoke, if you don't like things that are too smoky, this is not going to be too smoky. This is, it underplays the smoke. And then the lemon and the honey are just so comforting and such a wonderful flavor. And honestly, it's the thing I drink when I have a cold or a sore throat. I make like hot water, boiling water, juice of a lemon, and like an ounce of honey. It's nowhere, somebody asks, is it similar to a penicillin? I would say no. I would say a penicillin is much smokier, much scotchier. This is much more, it's a pick-me-up. It's got a bright and a light, what do you call it? The flavor profiles, I like to say, it's a trebly flavor. It's a very tart flavor. It makes your mouth a little bit puckering. It's got a little bit of that like tea next to a fireplace. Yes, not far off from tea next to a fireplace. So this, it's a lot like a bee's knees. It's a lot like a bee's knees. It's a bee's knees with a little smoke in it, Robert Coe. But then, excuse you, look, man, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. This is my quarantini. If I was making quarantinis, the world is answering the question, what's a quarantini? And right now, this is mine for a variety of reasons. Partially because of Ryan Reynolds coming out in support of the U.S. Bartenders Guild with Aviation Gin, and it being just so on point, and partially because, yeah, this is exactly the drink I would make under quarantine, and I am making under quarantine. Here I am making it. Mama Jama. I don't have a Mama Jama. I know what that is a little bit. Oh, man. That's very good. I'm thoroughly enjoying that twist. I think you could go smokier. I think you could go a little heavier on the drambuie. Maybe the tricky thing is that drambuie is very sweet. And of course, honey syrup is sweet. So and you want both flavors. You want them in tension. So if you bring up the drambuie, it might become too sweet. So then you bring the honey back. Oh, now you don't have that honey in there anymore because that's a honey flavor that you want. I suppose no, you couldn't really do that. You couldn't infuse honey into drambuie. It doesn't really work that way. I have a message here, and it might be important. It could be from the Meredith. What's she saying? Ingredients. Dude, look at your phone. She wants the ingredients. Meredith wants the ingredients. So I guess I need to text them to her. I've said it a couple times. Maybe she can't hear. It's 2 ounces. I'm literally texting the ingredients to somebody right now so they can put them into chat. Maybe I can just put it in the chat. Whatever. Let me just put them in the chat. I'll just put it in the chat. Nope, she'll miss it because it'll fly by too fast. We're winging it, guys. 2 ounces of aviation gin. I could just say it, she says. Great. So it's 2 ounces of aviation gin, 1 ounce of honey syrup, 1 ounce of lemon juice, 1/2 ounce of drambuie. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Garnish it with a lemon twist and enjoy it. That is really good. I'm enjoying that. Aviation gin is super smoky, says Tiger P. I would disagree with that. I don't know. I've never gotten that off of aviation. The drambuie is a little smoky. Certainly is. A little bit. Not like an Islay or something like that, but like a little smoky. It's a little smoky. It's got a bit of smoke. So let's answer the camera question. These are Lumix G7s. 3 of them. Let's see if there's any more in my tin. Oh, just a wee bit there. It's a small glass, I guess. Let's turn it over to Q&A. I'll answer some questions here. And if you guys have ingredients that you don't know how to work with at home, if you have, this is what I've got. What can I make? I'll help you make your home quarantini. And if I got it handy, I'll grab it out. And we'll see if it's any good and workshop the recipe. Obviously, we're not going to be able to. We have, Mark. We've made the quarantini. Thank you for coming by. We're not going to be able to make everybody's quarantini. What switcher are you using, Corey? That's a tech question. That's a good one. What's the ratio for honey syrup? It's nearly 1-to-1. It's more honey than water. Oh my God, I got to scroll up. Holy junks. My quarantini has Averna, Metaxa, and Grand Marnier. Help me improve it. I don't have any Metaxa here. Unfortunately, it'd be tough for me to work on. Drambuie tastes like scotch and bubblegum to me. Oh, I don't get the bubblegum on that, but there's certain bourbons I'll get bubblegum notes on. Yeah, when it's neat. Absolutely. Rooftop Rendezvous, 1/2 a lime, 2 ounces of white rum, 3 ounces of pineapple juice. Sidecar, help me improve. Ooh, that sounds good. Wait, what was it? Oh my God. Make a smoked old fashioned. Yeah, that's an option. Certainly, we can do that. How would you incorporate macadamia nuts into drinks? That's all capitals, Reaper. Just so you guys know, if you put things in all capitals, it doesn't end up in the chat. I have to approve it. It's a pain in my butt. Afternoon, Greg. Do you have any experience with Texas whiskeys? Not really. Have you heard of a brand of liqueur called Saint Remy's Aperitif? It's from Brazil, and you can't get it in the U.S. Really? Oh, no, I never heard of it. That's surprising. Does the deer get a sip? No, he's dead. May you please make something sour, Greg? Well, this is a sour. This drink is a sour. Without a doubt, this follows the ratio format and rules of a sour. It's an ounce of simple. It's got, a sweet and a sour and a strong in the right ratios for a sour. Best dry vermouth for a gin martini. It really depends on your taste. Personally, I'm not sure I'm a fan of very dry vermouths. We were talking about this yesterday on Twitch. I like a Blanc vermouth for a dry martini. But otherwise, I like Dolan or Lillet Blanc for a dry vermouth. Both are very good. Mezcal cocktail. I've done some mezcal on the show. Hold on. Epidemic Studios. For those of us who are totally out right now, if you only had $100, what would you buy make the biggest varieties of drinks? Oh, wow. I would buy like a 175, if you can get a 1.75 liter handle of like Four Roses bottom shelf bourbon, or I like that one for a bottom shelf, but bottom shelf of your choice. That'll set you back $25. I would buy 30 limes or 30 lemons. I would buy a handle. If you're trying to make it $100 stretch for as many drinks as you want. Buy 30 lemons, 30 limes, a 175 of bottom shelf bourbon. I would buy a 175 of Bacardi Gold. That right there will take you to probably $45 or $50 in my area. The rest of the money, you could get yourself, and then I'd probably get, the question is like your seltzer. How are you acquiring it? Do you make it yourself? Do you have it your own? If seltzer costs you nothing, then I would look at gin, because now you've got, there you're up to like a bunch of drinks. Oh, you need some bitters if you had some Ango, and then oranges and sugar. You're making daiquiris, old fashions, whiskey sours. With the gin, you're making Collinses and fizzes. With the rum, you're making those daiquiris again. You can also make, if you can get your hands on some mint, you can make a Queen's Park swizzle, but certainly you can make other kinds of swizzles or just rum swizzles in general. What was that, 5 or 6 drinks we're up to there? If you had access to if you wanted to go for the Manhattan route, honestly, maybe the bourbon. The reason I go bourbon is because you can get so much relatively cheap. If you go rye, it's going to be more expensive. I would have to run the numbers on it. It might come up, and then to get the same volume of rye, you can still make great old fashions with rye. But if you then also were able to get for your money a sweet vermouth and maybe even a bottle of absinthe, you've got Sazeracs and Manhattans as well. And then, of course, rye old fashions, rye sour, whiskey sours are fine with rye. Yeah, rye might be better that way. Greg, we need your quarantiki recipe. That's actually genius. I never even considered that. I like that idea. What would I make as a quarantiki? Ooh. Let's think about that. We're going to workshop it right now. Let's make a quarantiki. I'm going to have to step away from the bar to pick up some bottles from behind me, from my other room. I could bring you with me, actually. That might be the way to do this. Stand by, and I'll set this up. Actually, my battery 50%. Give me 1 second. I'm going to do a quick be right back, and then you're going to watch me do some tech on camera, and then I'll bring you to my liquor wall. guys, I'm back. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna hook up my phone into this little doodad right here, and we're going to do. I can screw this thing together with this microphone in it. There's some like feathers stuck in the microphone. That's really feathers in your microphone really increases the sound quality. I don't know if you guys are aware of that or not. And then I'm going to plug in this microphone, and I'm going to hit OBS camera. And I'm going to do that. And it's connected. And so tell me if you guys can see this. Is that working for you? Can you see me? I can check it over here. Oh yeah, you can see me. It looks like you can hear me too. Okay. So I don't have any... You're going to see exactly how this all looks from my side of things, which is fun. There's a door here, and we're going to go into my booze room, where my booze is at. Hold on a second. I have a couple of lights in here I got to turn on. Give me 1 second. Just switches down here on the ground. All right. Just so we have exposure so we can see. There's a big computer in there that does a lot of work. Okay. So we're going to do a tiki... a quarantiki. Let me think here for a... Yes, absolutely. How about... Ooh. Yeah, probably that. I like that for this. I can't see chat here though. That's the one problem with this. The Eldorado. Wait, nope, a little bit of that left. Scoot. I don't have any. It looks like I don't have any. I beloved Bartending. Unless that's... I was not planning on bringing you back here, so it's and regretting it. Kind of regretting it. Oh, I do have a Bartending. Oh yeah. All right, that's a good rum blend. 151 and the Bartending. I think that'll work. I think it's got to be. So we have. I have of various kinds, lemons and limes, and simples of various kinds, and what else? I have a few things up in my pantry. I have a couple of wonder if I should bring you up there. It might really get me in trouble with the Miz. I don't hear any sounds, so they're probably not up there. No, it's too much of a mess. I can't do that. I can't bring you up there. I would get in big trouble. I'm not allowed to do that, guys. Grab that just in case. It's not. Let's see. Only a little bit in that bottle. Okay, let's go back into the room now. Whoa. How do you carry 4 bottles of camera and open a doorknob at the same time? How do you do it? I don't know. I just did. Okay. This is weird, and it's a extremely unflattering camera angle for me. I'm noticing that. Yeah. I'm noticing just how unflattering that is. All right, we're back to the bar. I hope that was fun for you guys. Got to go on a little ride there. Oh, did you get... How disorganized are your liquor shelves? Pretty disorganized. Pretty disorganized. Let's see here. All right. right. Let's see. What are we doing? We're gonna make a quarantiki, which is just such a smart name, man. Smart. We do need something else, and I don't know what the answer is yet. I don't know what it is. Because this is not yet... It's like that. I'm rethinking everything now. Oh, it's bleeding again. I have a little cut on my finger. Typically, I have little cuts on my fingers, and this one's in when I put super glue on, and I guess the super glue failed. Cool. All right. Just pulled the little dasher out of that woozy. Let me think about this for just 1 second. Fresh water there. Okay. Stop bleeding, please, for the love of God. You are no. Okay. I think I need to go full be right back. I gotta grab a few more things, and I can't bring you with me, guys, and I'm sorry about that. It's only gonna take me a minute. I just need a couple of things that I don't have access to here. But we're gonna do this. We're gonna make a, and this is how the show is gonna work, by the way. I'm gonna take your suggestions, and I'm gonna mix them up, and I'm gonna have to say be right back a few times. Even if I wasn't doing that, you know, in a long stream, at some point you gotta go to the bathroom. So give me 3 minutes, all right? Just give me a minute. Give me 1 minute, 3 minutes. I'm gonna go to the be right back screen. I'm sorry, but I will be right back. And by the way, I just want to remind you to go to the USBG and make sure that you donate. Thank you so much. I'll be right back. right, we're back. I think I'm ready to make this quarantiki. Give me something a little different here. So let's. Got my shaker again. Let's start building. The jigger needs to be a little bit wiped out there. Well, the thickest boy, you missed me making a quarantini, my own house recipe of a quarantini. And I can't keep up all these damn chat rooms. Wait a second. Why is that cut off? That should definitely. Are you serious? Fuck. Oh my god. This is embarrassing. I'm trying to read your messages. Like, this seems important. I can only. Yes, these are the tools I have to work with. It's Chrome. Would another browser be better or something? Can you like? Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. Man, it's terrible. No, it's still cutting off. Why cut off? No. Oh, it really cuts off. Holy shit, man. Damn it. Wow. I like new window. Put that in there. And then window zoom. Can I zoom in? No. Zoom in on one window here because like I really need one window big and one window not so big. I'd be kidding. Ow! I need you to not do the whole browser. Jesus. That's super annoying. All right. I'll do my best here, guys. All right, so this is a quarantiki. I got my small tin. It is going to be a big drink. We're going to make this sucker big. I want 1/2 an ounce of lemon. 1/2 an ounce of lemon. Missing most of that. It's a little awkward of a cut, wasn't it? All right, so one more time. 1/2 an ounce of lemon. That line, thank you. 1/2 an ounce of lemon. I'm actually gonna save both halves because I barely juiced the one and the other one is unjuiced. Well, 1/2 an ounce of lime. I want 1/2 an ounce of Passoa passion fruit liqueur. No, let's skip that. Make it 1/4. I want. Let me grab it. Want 3/4 of an ounce probably of Demerara Simple. This is 2-to-1 ratio. I would like to have in this. What the heck? I've got it. Let's use it. This is Goya sugarcane juice. Let's go with actually an ounce because it's not a very subtle flavor. It gets lost easy. And be glad I had the can because, frankly, the ability to produce, if I could produce fresh pressed sugarcane juice at the drop of the hat like that, that'd be something else, huh? That'd be pretty wild. Yeah, readable. I just want to make it all so I can read it. This is so crazy. Okay. That is the first part of this, and then I would love. Let's think about our rum then. I did this on Twitch the other day, and some people's... That's weird. Different. Okay. Some guys, people, you all got to see how I do this if you were on Twitch. Uh-huh. Yes. I think that'll be a lovely mix. We'll do 1 ounce of this. I smell the 2 ingredients I'm considering mixing, and if they smell combined into something harmonious, then I know that's probably a good sign. It's not always going to steer me right, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I think 1 ounce of that, and I brought another rum, didn't I? What happened here?
What's going on? I say, hey, what's going on?
I thought I brought another rum. That's okay, we have this. The Angostura. A little different here. 1 ounce of this. Half an ounce of lemon heart. Oh, there's a new bottle. Half an ounce of lemon heart 151. That was a fat half of an ounce, which is fine. Boy, Lily Noise, if we had some gardenia mix, I'd be thinking about it, but that is not something that keeps. I don't have any. And let's give that a smell real quick. Yes, that smells very tiki. Okay. Yes. Oh yeah. You guys are gonna see some wild stuff. Do we want the absinthe in here? No, I think we're gonna swap out the absinthe in this case. I'm looking lightly in the direction of a Dr. Funk for inspiration here. I'm going to pour, I'm gonna say half an ounce of bitters. Literally half an ounce of Angostura bitters. Part of me wonders if that's undershooting it, if I don't want more in there, but I think half an ounce of Ango is gonna be wonderful. You guys are saying, that's a lot of bitters, but there's a drink called an Angostura Sour or a Trinidad Sour. There's a couple different variations on it that call for ounce pours of Angostura. And I'll tell you what, man, Trinidad Sour is one of my favorite drinks. However, I'm really being extra conservative of my egg stockpile right now, so we won't be doing anything with egg whites. And we're gonna shake this with some crushed ice. Put that in there. Stand that by. And smashy smash. There we go. So, you know, if your ice is brittle, you can do this in the air. It works great. Just smack it fast. If your ice isn't brittle, if it's not coming out of a very cold freezer and right away out of it, you might need to put it on the surface, in which case that would be terrible for me because this bar is probably not structurally sound enough to do that. I probably couldn't do that on the bar surface here. That's enough. Save the rest of that. Okay. And pour together. More than enough in this particular drink's case. It's very cold on that crushed ice. If you have a tiki mug, use a tiki mug. I'm going to pour it into this suffering bastard mug. Open. right to the line, showing you, creating the illusion that I know what I'm doing. Do I? I sure do. A drink of this nature calls for something. Let's put an umbrella in it. Yeah, let's do, actually, let's do this. Let's take an umbrella and, come on, work over here. Normally, I have a minute to set up these shots when I'm doing this thing live, or when I'm not doing it live. Here, you have to see the setup. Okay, let's take a thing of lime there. That was a bad cut, so that's okay. Just do like, try to keep the cut on. If you have a cut on your finger, try to keep that out of the lime juice. Kind of work that into your lime. And there we go. And situate that on the rim of the glass. Sort of like that. I don't know. I'm not good at garnishes. And stick a straw in it. I'm not good at garnishes. There you go. It looks sort of professional. Okay, let's see how my quarantiki came out. It's got a really cool finish. The Angostura bitters and Passoa yield a really pleasing finish at the end. Acknowledge the chat, says Maxwell Andres. Jesus. Oh no, that's awesome. That got a lot better. This hurts like a son of a bitch right now. Oh my god. Wow, that's incredible. So this is a bracing and dry, not overly sweet, tropical tasting. It has a lot of tropical flavors in there between that sugar cane and the lemon and the lime and the passion fruit from the Passoa. If you had fresh passion fruit, maybe go with that. And it's got that really neat sucking dry thing that comes from having a lot of bitters in something. And it's not overpowering for me. It is tartar. It's more tart, more bitey than you might expect a tiki drink to be. For some people, this might not be sweet enough, in which case, maybe dial back your bitters or omit them. I actually really like this combo. I think this combo of the rums that we used here, which bring a lot of characters, a lot of Demerara, of course from the Demerara Simple, but also from the different rums that we're blending here. There's a little bit of that rum funk. You get a lot of citrus notes. You get, and then that Angostura that takes over with allspice and cinnamon and whatever secret ingredients are in there, but those are two that I always get. And kind of commingles with what's left of the passion fruit into this kind of long note that lingers, this lasting moment. That's really cool. Also, I mean, I'm not good at math at all, but I'm going to guess that this is pretty, this is rocket fuel. Whoa. It's really good. It just went down a little square there. That's awesome. That is awesome. It has, it's funny, there's a bottle of Campari right there that made me think this, but it does have like a Campari-like quality. Like the bitters they're bitter. It's a bittering agent. I personally find Angostura, even like straight Angostura, to be much more palatable than like straight, straight Campari. I really like Campari a lot, but I think that if Angostura didn't come in a tiny bottle, people would probably be happy to use it the way that they use Campari. Love you too, Samuel Chiret. Let's see what we got here in the old chattery-do. Let's try to make this thing a little smaller here so I can read it again. I'm a poor sailor. and I enjoy your show very much. Please do a white lady egg and no egg at some point. Yeah, I can't do that one today. I'm sorry. In your opinion, best book or guide for beginners? That's a good question. And it's interesting. I have a different... My answer to that question is probably different than... can I, like, divine stuff at all? Like, I have no control over any of these windows. It's a fucking nightmare. My answer to that question is probably a little bit different for a lot of people. So for me, I think that the best book, I always say the best book, your first book should be Imbibe. And I think that's true. Just because it's the roots cocktails. It's cocktails from the dawn and golden age of cocktails in the 1860s. And David Wondrich does such an excellent job of updating the measurements so that you can understand them and make sense of them, because like a wine glass and a pony is not measurements we use anymore. And it has great historical anecdotes, but it's not just a list of cocktails. You know, there's a lot of information in there, and maybe as a beginner, that's actually overkill. I don't know. For me, it's really interesting, and I think it's good as a device that will actually get you into the hobby of cocktail making. I got to keep this here because even though this was a camera a minute ago, this is also how Meredith is talking to me. Repeat the recipe before you taste it. Okay, she wants the recipe. Let's go through this one more time. What was this? This was... yeah, that's a good question, right? Half an ounce of lemon, half an ounce of lime. This is for you, Meredith. Half an ounce of lemon, half an ounce of lime, half an ounce of Passoa passion fruit liqueur. Feel free to swap real passion fruit juice there. I would have to play with it to know how it changes it. 1 ounce of Goya sugarcane juice. 1 ounce of Demerara, 3/4 of an ounce of Demerara simple syrup, but I really think it could be 1 ounce. 1 ounce of Lemon Heart 151, 1 ounce of rum Barbancourt 8 year, and 1 ounce of Angostura 1919, with a half an ounce of Demerara, with a half an ounce of Angostura bitters. So back to the book thing. It gets better and better. I like it more and more. I don't know that it's really the best beginner's book. I think it's one of the best books for a foundation. Then the other one I always say is one of the best books for me is Liquid Intelligence. Again, that might be specific to somebody like me who has a YouTube show. For me, Liquid Intelligence is a great resource, Dave Arnold's book, because I can look at it and it's like, oh, here is how you do clarifications of various juices in agar. Here is the way to measure gas volumes. Here is, there's like so many very useful scientific tricks that kind of open up doors in terms of bartending. Or I should say mixology, because bartending, I think, I don't know what the right thing is. What do I do? I'm not a bartender. I don't deal with real-time customers normally. This is a unique situation. Or live up by tips, right? So I'm just the guy who comes up with recipes. So what I do, it's a great book. I don't know that it's great for somebody who's just a home bartender and just wants to know the best cocktail recipes. Meehan's Guide has got you covered. The Savoy Cocktail book has got you covered for that. It kind of depends on what your personal interest is. Are you interested in modern classics? In which case I would say Regarding Cocktails by Sasha Petrosky. Are you interested in the classic cocktails of the 1920s of Prohibition? Then the Savoy book maybe is your go-to, because that was the contemporary thing at that time. Are you interested in those pre-Prohibition roots cocktails and stuff, they were still popular during Prohibition, like martinis? Then I would say look at Imbibe by David Wondrich. So, yeah, those are my answers there. One of the, I'm going to make the chat more readable again. Or I'm going to try to make it readable. It's very confusing. I can either choose to read one. It's so frustrating. I think what we got to do is just do this. I can pop this out. Pop out chat. Try to make this as readable as humanly possible for myself. Make it a little bit smaller because that's apparently a bit much. There we go. Then what can I like? Oh, and then I can look at those. Oh, okay, that's cool. Blood for the Blood God says Sylph Ibuka. Yep. Fruity Mead says Kakaranowski. I want to use Fruity Mead. I want to use lemon and lime, grenadine, cream, ango, and orange bitters. One of most type of spirits. Vodka, bourbon, scotch, several rums, gins, silver reposado, tequilas, etc. Nuclear Solstice says, "Hey boss, love your show. Thanks to you, I've started mixing drinks. Got my shaker recently. I was wondering, where would I find that coffee liqueur you utilize? I am in Sacramento, California, and unsure where it would be." Nuclear Solstice, that's a good question. So I'm going to talk directly to you for a minute. Does Drizzly work where you live? If you've got access to Drizzly, and use it or don't use it for their delivery service, I actually neither endorse nor not endorse. Disendorse? What's the opposite of endorse? Drizzly for that, because I don't know how they treat their delivery people and if it's actually like a cool thing or not. And we don't work with Drizzly. But what they're great for is that if there's a liquor store in your area that is participating with Drizzly, and there probably is if Drizzly's in your area, you can search basically all of your local liquor stores retail, what's available in stock nearby. So look for, I think you're talking about Mr. Black in this case. My eye is twitching, which is pretty weird. So I would say go on to Drizzly and see where they can get you Mr. Black from on Drizzly. And then you can just go buy it. You don't need to have it actually delivered. Although right now you can't go buy it. Nobody should go anywhere. You should remain indoors, as Mitchell and Webb said. But that's one of the things I use when I'm trying to find a specific bottle and I don't know where to get it. As far as can you what you could do as well is, I mean, you could hit up Mr. Black on Twitter. You could see if they have an answer for you. You could call, I don't know who the distributor is for California, but they might have an answer too. But yeah, Drizzly is an alcohol delivery app. It's not really, it's weird because of the way alcohol legally it has to be sold in America. Like it's more like DoorDash or Uber Eats. Like it basically hooks up booze deliverers with liquor stores and people who are at home that want the liquor from the liquor store. What's a go-to rum that you would recommend? It kind of depends on what you want to drink, Connor. I am a huge fan of Smith & Cross. I might be out right now, which is kind of insane. But, you know, I like Smith & Cross because it's funky and it has Jamaican characteristics that, like, Bacardi doesn't have. And it tastes a little bit like rotting bananas, and I love that in my rums. And that's not appropriate for every drink either. I do love a Smith & Cross daiquiri. I do. Maybe your guests won't. My wife certainly wouldn't. She's going to like something a lot more like the Angostura 1919. Maybe the rum Barbancourt, but Barbancourt, I forget which bottles are which, but some of them are coffee stilled, and they can have some pretty funky flavors. The Haitian white is really cool stuff. I love that. And like if you're looking for an all-purpose rum, I mean, Bacardi is not so bad actually, you know, and it's pretty affordable. Let's see here. Alistair Robertson, workshopping a drink, half an ounce of blackstrap rum, an ounce of gin, an ounce of Galliano. What would you add? Interesting. I feel like that might be undersweetened at that point. So it's weird. I wonder about that Galliano, and I don't have any here to play with because I think about that as like being neither citrusy enough, nor would I say that it's sweet enough to do the job of either in that kind of drink, which is looking a little tiki-esque. I think I might go, and this is probably going to become a different drink, but I might look at like a blackstrap rum, gin, lemon, simple, and maybe absinthe. I don't know why. I mean, it's a big departure, but that's just what I'm thinking. Okay. I figured out how I can handle this chat room, so I can just say, have you considered a Michelada episode? I've considered it. I have. It's been considered. It's something we are considering. Okay, wow, man, Saber Metal Panzer. I kind of saw it, but it was flying by, and I'm still learning how to do this. I apologize, but apparently you hit that bell button twice. Hey, boss, man, I wasn't sure if you saw my donation earlier. This is Saber Metal Panzer, but I was wondering if you could give me some ideas on improving this drink. Disaronno, grenadine, and red cream soda. I like sweet, but I think it needs something. So you got Disaronno, which is basically almond. It's a amaretto. Grenadine, which is pomegranate and sweet, and red cream soda. I don't know what how red cream soda differs from regular cream soda, but it's cream soda, so vanilla, sugar, and bubbles. I guess I'd go bourbon. I think I'd go with some bourbon in there. I think I'd go 2 ounces of bourbon. I think I would make that a highball that's like 2 ounces of bourbon, half an ounce of Disaronno, half an ounce of grenadine, maybe a little twisty lime, because that tartness will help some of those flavors express. But I mean, like, not even not an ounce, maybe a half an ounce, maybe a quarter ounce of lime juice. Think of it kind of like a variation on a who's that little dancing girl? Shirley Temple. And then top it with cream soda. I might try that. Okay. Trying to make sure I don't okay, I'm trying to go through here. Fancy a hot toddy? Is that a question? Sure, Serena. I fancy a hot toddy. Or do you want a fancy hot toddy? I've tried every type of basic gin drink. This is Tice 4 with 100 DKKs. I don't know what 100 DKK is. Where's DKK? That I don't know. Gin. I've tried every basic gin drink: gin and juice, gin lemon, tonic, whatever. But what is your idea of a total left field gin drink cocktail that doesn't taste or feel like so many others? Off the top of my head, really right off the top of my head here, I got two. One is my own creation. Look at a rusty anchor, which I did for What the Golden Girls Would Drink. It's a video that was in my back catalog. It's basically it's a rusty anchor is gin and drambuie with a float of Angostura bitters. That is pretty left field for gin. The other one I would say is actually, have you had a what? Man, my brain, word access, very tricky for me sometimes. Have you had a I shake it. It's got pineapple and lemon in it. It's comes from a place, Singapore Gin Sling. If you have a Singapore Sling, I think that's pretty left field for a gin drink as well. So check that one out. Have you ever thought about doing an episode on Everclear? What would I say? I don't know. You know what that would be? That's going to be Twitch content, and we'll be making our own bitters, and we'll probably use Everclear a lot. Have you ever tried licorice liqueur? Well, here's the thing about that. You're talking about anisette. I think, basically. Like absinthe could be called a licorice liqueur, and or not liqueur, because it's really high proof. I like licorice a lot. Sorry, replying to Meredith. Well, wow. How do you keep up to date on the latest in bar stuff? Lastly, I don't. I don't know that I do. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. Hey, you know what? Check this out. I'm on Twitter and Instagram and Twitch, and the things that kind of get fired across my brow on Twitter or Instagram, I am aware of. I don't read. I mean, honestly, I just don't have time to really stay abreast of the trades. And since I had a kid, I don't really go out so much anymore. So I don't do a lot to stay abreast of the current trends in cocktails, to be perfectly blunt. Fataku, an idea to help the medicine go down. The Gland Sanitizer, a spiced rum hot toddy with limoncello and Theraflu. I won't be mixing anything with any pharmacist's ingredients today, and I don't have any limoncello, but that might be something for other people to try out. Justin, says, thank you for existing. You're an inspiration to us all. That is all. Wow, man. Thank you so much. That's really, honestly, that's some heavy praise. And it kind of makes me a little bit uncomfortable. There's a lot of other more inspiring people in the world who should be getting your inspiration points. Excuse me. Have you ever looked at Szechuan peppercorn? Slash prickly ash as an ingredient? It's adjacent, yes, totally different from buzz buttons. That's interesting. I was unaware. I actually thought Szechuan peppercorn was buzz buttons, so I could be wrong. What do you think about substituting Drambuie for orange curacao? You know, put in orange curacao instead of Drambuie, which is what Caitlin Shepherdson says. I think that'll make a very nice drink. It'll be a very different drink because curacao and Drambuie are not even from like the same family of liqueurs. One is an orange liqueur. Drambuie is a sweetened Scotch liqueur. They're from completely other flavor palettes. They have no relationship to each other at all. But yeah, I think that quarantini that I did, if you swapped it, it would become sort of a much more standard, a lot closer then to a bee's knees, sort of a bee's knees with a kick of orange. Great, very awesome, very tasty drink. I endorse this drink, full-throated, double-fisted. But it will not have that smoky, homey, cozy characteristic, which is what the Drambuie brings for me. And that's a personal taste thing. Okay, thank you, Caitlin. Cassandra, I'd love to see your taste on a Washington apple. Think you'll do it sometime? Thanks for all you do. I have to look up what a Washington apple is, to be honest. It's not a drink I'm super familiar with. Do you remember what the first cocktail you ever made was, or drank, or both? Aside from that, shout out to my partner Wyatt, who's at home watching. All right, Olivia J. to Wyatt. How you doing, baby? So do I remember the first drink I ever made was, the first drink I ever made might have been a White Russian. It might have been a kamikaze. I'm not ashamed to admit it. The first mixed drink I ever drank, it was probably, I'm going to be blunt, it was probably a gin martini. It was probably at a wedding, and I knew it was going to get served, and I probably ordered a gin martini thinking I was really slick. And then I swallowed it, and I hated every sip. And that's probably right. You got maraschino liqueur, but you got no creme de violet. Is there a substitute, Gary Werrick? I'm assuming you're talking about trying to make yourself a aviation. So if you don't have creme de violet, that's tough, man. That is sort of it. A lot of people think it's just there to make it blue. It's not. Creme de violet. Violet is a very powerful flavor, and too much can. The reason you use so little is because too much can really overpower the drink. There is something that I made the mistake of using in an old episode of How to Drink called, what the heck is it called? Not creme de violet. It's the lady's name. Creme something. It's like a berry liqueur, and I can't remember the name of it right now. What the heck is that called? It's not that I can't remember the name. It's an aphasia. I got this word access aphasia. Cremavette. Thank you, guys. I knew chat would catch up with me if I just kept saying it. The Cremavette. Yeah. So Cremavette was for a long time in the States considered an alternative creme de violet because we had no distributors selling it in America. So people use that instead. Will it make a drink that's like an aviation? Kinda. Will it be an aviation? No, not really. I mean, honestly, I wonder if you'd be better off literally going to like the pharmacy or, candy shop and picking up some little violet candies and like pulverizing one and dissolving it in water or seltzer or something. I don't know. It's a crazy idea. All right. Oh man, you want to make an NPC in your D&D campaign based off me? What class and race would honor you best, if you will? I would be a goblin. First off, And a class. What class would I be? I would be a goblin bard whose bardric instrument is his voice, and I would sing when nobody wants me to. Working tequila and mezcal sour, 1 ounce lime, 1/4 ounce of agave nectar, 2 ounces of tequila / mezcal, and an egg white. What do you think? Could you make one? Noah, I have. I've done it. I called it The Prince That Was Promised, and it was part of my Game of Thrones series. And off the top of my head, I can't recall the spec, but I do remember that it was a great drink, and I really liked it. And it involved a flamethrower. So I would encourage you to watch that video. All right. Whiskey Sunset. Akash Ume whiskey. Lemonade. A ginger simple maraschino floater. Garnish with candied ginger. Okay, that sounds nice. Thank you for the video. You're my 5-year-old's favorite YouTuber. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. Greatly appreciate the time, craft, and thought you put into this. What are you drinking tonight? Well, tonight we've had one quarantini, which was kind of a bee's knees modified with some drambuie, and I'm working my way through this quarantiki, which has a lot of things in it. And I don't think I'm a good influence for your 5-year-old at all. I feel I'm not sure. I'm not going to recommend Bippy, but Blippy. But I appreciate it. Thank you. A little weird me out, but sea salt ice cream from Kingdom Carts. I made it with 1 ounce of coconut rum, 3/4 of an ounce vanilla vodka, 1/2 ounce of blue curacao, 1 ounce of cream, and a whole 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. Ooh, man. On the subject of D&D from earlier, how can I make Dwarven Ale? Or perhaps mushroom wine? Just spitting ideas here. Nuclear Solstice talking about that. Dwarf Fortress, thinking about them Plum Pelmet wine. Shoot, there was just a message that I saw going by. Oh, Benjamin Babish collab. That's what it was. It's weird that didn't show up, Paco. You're not in the super chat running up top here. I don't know what that's about. So I have been on Babish. We made Christmas cocktails together a couple years ago at his place, and I would love to collaborate. I would love to collaborate with him anytime he wants. Although not right now because he's quarantining. He tested positive for, according to his Instagram, he's got the corona. I love your Rick and Morty Mega Seed video. I added Aztec chocolate bitters and dark chocolate shavings on top, and I call it a Mayan Rick. Ooh. That sounds like a great addition, Master Shogun. I thoroughly endorse that. A Paul Blart cocktail. I see it, but I can't undo it. Do you stock eau de vie in your cabinet? Yeah, Nick. I have some eau de vies. I mean, eau de vie is a category. It just basically means brandy made from fruit that isn't grapes. So I've got, Kirschwasser as an eau de vie, and I have some cherry Kirschwasser. I have some, technically Applejack is an apple eau de vie. I have that. I have Calvados. I have some Applejack. So I have some eau de vie. Yeah. Make a lot of video. Well, I can't put it together while I'm talking to you, but it's in the running. I'll think about that. Cheech and Chong cocktail. I think that we all know what Cheech and Chong would drink. They would smoke it. In your Miracle Peel recipe, can we instead use Benedictine? Probably. Is this bar in your basement? It's in a garage, which is sort of a basement. He's got the Crown. Any cocktail you can make with Jägermeister. There are a few. Oh man, the Ceph it's gonna be tough to do that. I'm not sure I know how. But I feel like I owe it to you. Hold on, let's scroll up. Yeah, this is exciting content, right? Watching me scroll. I'm scrolling. Doing the scroll. I'm doing this, scrolling it. Seth, I don't know if I can get back to your top rated comment, man. Like I'm working on it, but this is tough. Toby Larone. Hey, I and my brother love your show. What are 3 liquors that you think are the best bang for your buck during this period? Toby, man, 2 to 3 liquors. That's broad. Because if you had said 3 bourbons or 3 gins, 3 liquors, now I'm going to assume that means you want to make a lot of drinks. Everclear? I mean, you can dilute it, you double it, right? It's double strength. So if you only use half as much in a drink that you would instead use twice as much if it were vodka. I don't encourage you to do that. I think. Let's see here. Best bang for your buck. Man, that's so tricky. Well, look, my favorite bourbon is also a best bang for your buck bourbon, and that's Old Grandad bottled in bond. It's pretty affordable. You can get it comes in a big bottle. So I'm going to say that. Last I checked, a liter of Ford's gin was still a couple of bucks less than its main competitors, like Tanqueray. And at least as good, if not better. So I'm going to say Ford's gin. And then as far as rum goes, bang for your buck rum. That's tough. I do love Barbancourt. I don't know the pricing on it off the top of my head. You know what, man? I just bought some Screwball peanut butter whiskey. I bought it because you guys people won't stop talking about this Screwball peanut butter whiskey. I got it. I'm on board with folks asking about a Lord of the Rings cocktail. I think the gate on your audio is up too high. Josh, thanks. This is the important information. Let's take a look. That's good stuff. Audio gate set wrong. Let's see if we can fix it. I've got a little compressor on there and a noise gate. So right now my closed threshold is minus 47 decibels, and my open threshold is minus 28. Let's bring it way up. Now I've got it at minus 10. Which is still closing, so that's fine. Okay, minus 10. Let's try that. Thanks. I think Meredith's trying to. Thank you, Josh. On board Lord of the Rings cocktail. I did one. I did a Lord of the Rings cocktail. I did a Ent draft. I forget what it was called. Ash double yellow. Ash double LOL. Ash double LOL. Yeah, I did a Ent draft cocktail. I was very proud of it. Screwball peanut butter with rum to cacao, half and half. Yeah. Thoughts? Zachary, I gotta tell you, that's a drink I've been thinking about. I think that's my first thought was Screwball whiskey cup. Liger fan, I have thought about doing an Alaskan polar bear heater. It's about a lot. You're at a spirit so strong that it downright have inexperienced go in. Oh, Meredith got your hold on a second. All right, so first things, Tice J4. Not really. I mean, downright into shock. I assume you mean that figuratively, because literally if you went into shock and required medical attention, that would be something that we shouldn't sell in the marketplace. Reality is that most of your spirits are going to be bottled at 80 proof, maybe 100 proof, somewhere between 100 if you're talking about bottle and bond. Overproof stuff, anything that's over 100 proof, I mean, you are looking at cask strength scotches. If you're looking at cask strength bourbons and scotches, you have to get there anyway. You probably don't even know that. Well, I will say is that there's a few spirits that I think are inhospitable to all living creatures. It has nothing to do with how much alcohol is in them. Baijiu, I have some Gaoling wine. They call it wine, but it's 57% alcohol. That stuff is absolutely drink. And threshold is too. Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah. I can. Threshold should be. Hi. Is that working better? Is that better? I mean, come on. I wonder why minus 10. Or 5. Is that better? That seems better, right? That's better. It's live, man, and I don't have anybody in the booth or anything like that, so I'm doing it myself. Much better, perfect. Okay, everybody loves it. Yes, way better. Okay, cool, good. Everybody agrees. I'm going to audio screwed, my dude. Keeps cutting out. Okay, so hopefully that's fixed. So Babish is working on opening a restaurant and pub. Any chance you and him are working a cocktail menu together? Much love from New Zealand. I wish. He hasn't asked me. That'd be great. I'd love to help him out with that. Wyatt would like your opinion on go juice. 1 ounce of blue curacao, a quarter ounce of gin, a quarter ounce of vodka, a quarter ounce of white rum, and a quarter ounce of tequila. So, 1 ounce. An ounce of OJ. Shake and pour in a Collins top of 7-Up or Sprite. Can you improve it? Well, first thing you got to do is double all of your spirits. So forget a quarter ounce of gin. You should be a half ounce of gin, half ounce of vodka, half ounce of white rum, half ounce of tequila. But I wonder why you're splitting them like that. What is the purpose there? And an ounce of OJ. Olivia, Wyatt, I don't know, man. I don't know if that can be fixed. That's a bad idea. I think that's just not a good drink. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. PB and BB and J says Jason BB. 2 ounces of Screwball whiskey, 2 dashes of Ango, bar spoon of maraschino, maraschino whiskey cube smoked with. You mean like a whiskey stone? Cherry wood. Wow, interesting. We should make another drink, Meredith, but I have to take a short break. I also want to read this message I missed from Seth. Seth, this is the message I missed from you. My wife came up with at a party Holly's Heola Hula, a banana liqueur, I don't know how much, a coconut rum, 1 ounce of coconut rum, 1 ounce of spiced rum, 1 ounce of orange juice, 1 ounce of pineapple juice, 1 ounce of guava juice. Yeah, I was going to say, it's warning, it's really sweet. It sounds very sweet. I want more rum in that, but otherwise I think it sounds fine. Since we're getting sick playing Vicks Vapor Rub, 1.5 ounces of Averna and a 3/4 ounce of Fernet Branca, ginger syrup, lime, top of club soda. I don't have any ginger syrup. I would totally make that though, because I think that's a hilarious name for a drink, Vicks Vapor Rub, and I get it. This Fernet Branca is right there. Guys, give me 5 minutes. I gotta go. I have to run to the bathroom. It's life. I gotta do it. Can you hang out for a second? Because I'm going to be right back. And in the meantime, I do want to remind you again to to make sure that you're donating to the U.S. Bartenders Guild. They really are doing the important work of providing relief and assistance through grants directly into the hands of bartenders and servers and barbacks and people who are involved in the handling and preparation of alcohol in any tip-based direct-to-consumer restaurant, places with liquor licenses. So if you have an interest, I hope, one thing to maybe think about how much you would be going out if you were going out, and at least donate that much. Because these people need this money. They don't have any other income. When they get unemployment, which they will, it's going to be based off of a minimum wage of something like $2.35 an hour, I think. Really kind of a joke. 40% of that, Jesus. And so, these are people on the front lines of our service industry and our economy being directly hit really hard by being put out of work because they live shift to shift. So if you're looking for a charity, if you're looking for somebody, some place that you can spend a few bucks and help out right now, as we are all sheltering in place and quarantining during the coronavirus pandemic, certainly the U.S. Bartenders Guild relief charity and is a great place for you to throw some money. So check them out. Certainly Ryan Reynolds is, if I'm not mistaken, I think the number is 30%. 30% of all aviation sales are going to the USBG right now. I'm going to take a brief bathroom break. And when I return, we're going to make another drink, probably pulling from the chat room. So I will see you in 5 minutes. Can you guys hang for 5? I'll be right back. Thank you. right, guys, thanks for waiting. So sorry about that. Did a couple of quick things. I am back, and let's see what you guys got. I'm down to... if you got something you want to see workshops, we can work on. This guy, Monty T. Freak, keeps getting filtered on the drink called the Pussycat. You know what, Monty? I don't know what's in a Pussycat. Let's look it up. Drink challenge episode. Whoa. Make drinks with whatever you can find in our state-run liquor stores. Not a bad idea. I'm definitely by Aviation Gin. What do you think about Bioshock Vigor cocktails for some later vids? I love it. Also, if y'all make a recipe book, I will buy 5. Michael Mass, I'm gonna hold you to it. So I wanted to ask your thoughts on a friend's drink that he calls the Dark Senpai. Kahlua Amaretto Spice Rum, Coconut Rum, Creme de Coco. Creme de Cacao or Creme de Coco? Saber Metal Pans, that's a tricky one. I don't know about Creme de Coco. Is that like coconut? Creme de coconut? If needed, a splash of Everclear. A splash of Everclear could be added. Just, if you need it. If you need that special Everclear. Let's think about that. Let's try it. What do you say, Saber? Let's try your drink. You need thoughts on a Pisco versus whiskey sour. I prefer a whiskey sour, but I like a Pisco sour just fine. Dark Senpai, the Dark Senpai. Kahlua and Amaretto and spiced rum and coconut rum and creme de coco, and if needed, a splash of Everclear. Oh boy. Let me go collect those bottles. We just got back from Be Right Back. I gotta collect bottles. This is reality. So I'll be right back. I can't bring it with me on this one. It'd be obnoxious. But, well, maybe I can. Let's try it. Let me see if I can. Is it working? Yeah, that's the one thing about this iPhone rig is that it works once and then it doesn't work. Sorry about that. So let me be right back. We're gonna look at this Dark Senpai. I'll be right back in 1 second. Okay, sorry for that. I'm actually gonna do something real quick here as well. We're gonna take this phone apart because this is just sort of in the way, and at this point all it's gonna ever do is communicate to Meredith. So Dark Senpai, Kahlua Amaretto Spice Rum, Coconut Rum, Creme de Cacao, I hope. Because you already got coconut rum, so it can't be creme de cocoa. And Everclear could be added. I'm going to reject the Everclear because I just don't think it's the kind of drink that we need Everclear for. So, first things first, you know, I happen to have... Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. I have something I've never had on the show before, Kraken rum. Everybody always asks me, what do you think of Kraken? Isn't Kraken great? Spiced rum is great. And this is, I don't know if it's a standard Kraken, but it's 94 proof. If the standard Kraken is 94, so is this. So here we go, Kraken taste test. Since everybody's always asking me what I think about Kraken, I got myself a bottle so that I can answer that question. And I was going to answer it a different way, but I'm going to answer it right now. What do I think about Kraken? A lot of acetone on that nose. A lot of vanilla. Ooh, they just dumped a bunch of vanilla in there. God, you know what that tastes like? That tastes like that sweetened like hookah or pipe tobacco. Like vanilla flavored hookah tobacco. That's what that tastes like. Jeez. Not bad. It's very sweet as far as rum, as far as anything goes. I don't know if they add sugar to it or not, but the perception is that it's very sweet. Lots of vanilla. The main flavor is vanilla. The Kraken Rum Company and producers and shippers of fine rums to points around the world. The Kraken rum is from the Caribbean, blended with natural flavors, named for a sea beast of myth and legend. The Kraken rum is strong, rich, black, and smooth. It really does taste like pipe tobacco, like that flavored vanilla pipe tobacco, or flavored vanilla. Get up to hell, yeah, brother, says Funk to Wub Wub. Can you use your Saint Germain in a drink? I've done it. Check out a really, really old video of mine called A Gin Whisper. Okay, so that's what Kraken tastes like. It's vanilla. It's mostly vanilla. A little bit of bitey smoke, but not like Scotch smoke, but like kind of like nasty tobacco smoke. Ugh. Not bad, honestly. The Kraken isn't bad. It is. Here's the thing about the Kraken. Here's the thing about spiced rum. Rum doesn't normally taste overly like vanilla. You might get a little bit of vanilla from the right kinds of barrels, but for the most part, rum is going to taste a lot more like, if it's going to taste like much, it's going to taste like weird fumes and diesel and bananas and kind of, that's kind of far away from what I expect a rum to taste like. Okay, nonetheless. We're here to make a drink from Saber Metal Panzer, the Dark Senpai, Kahlua. He gives no ratios. Kahlua, amaretto, spiced rum, coconut rum, creme de cacao, creme de cacao, and if needed, a splash of Everclear. Oh my God! Well, it's such a tiki drink. We don't need Everclear. If you want overproof, we'll go with the Lemon Heart. I would probably use Ray and Nephew, but I don't know where the bottle of I may be out of Ray and Nephew, which is uncharted territory, folks. Uncharted territory. That is a wild blend of things. So we've got nothing sour going on in there. I think you need a sour component. I think we need a little bit of tartness to make those flavors pop. And on one hand, excuse me, a little bucket of hot water down there. It's not a kind of place where, on one hand, lime seems logical. Ooh, this lemon is feeling funny. Like a blister that's ready. On the one hand, you think tiki, you think lime, but on the other hand, looking at that list of flavors, I actually think lemon might be the better way to go. And I'm not going to go nuts here. I'm going to actually say my gut says maybe to use half an ounce of lemon, but I'm going to second guess myself and go 3/4. That's a half an ounce there. Meredith, 3/4 of an ounce lemon. All right, 3/4 of an ounce of lemon into the small tin. Now, we got to get amaretto, spiced rum, coconut rum, and creme de cacao. Let's go half an ounce of amaretto, half an ounce of coconut rum. Half an ounce of amaretto. Juggernog is coming in a future episode. Half an ounce of amaretto. Half an ounce of Malibu coconut rum. And you can see that I use this so much that the sugar in it has sealed our cork, our cap up. We should probably shake it, that means. Just get it like kind of reconstituted in there. Half an ounce of Malibu. For the record, by the way, Caribbean rum with coconut liqueur, 21% alcohol by volume. This is not rum. This is a rum derivative. So I'm very clear about that. Kahlua. I'm actually going to say, let's go a whole ounce on the Kahlua. I think coffee. If you can make coffee your driving force, make it your driving force. That's what I think. Okay, half an ounce of that. Creme de cacao. I think we go really light on that one. I think that we're making this very noisy as it is. Let's go with a 1/4 ounce just to add a little darkness to it. If I had seen my other creme de cacao, I might have reached for that. This one kind of smells a little bit like a Hershey's bar. The St. George, it just wasn't in front of my face. If I had seen it, I might have grabbed that. That's a little bit more like a dark chocolate. I think that'd be more what I want. Now, you're saying spiced rum. I'm going to split you. I'm going to go 1 ounce of your Kraken spiced rum. And good God, man, if you've got another spiced rum in mind, I don't have it. And then we are going to use an ounce our lemon art 151. An ounce of lemon art 151. Because this drink is a lot of syrup and a lot of sugar and a lot of things that aren't booze, to be perfectly blunt. And I think that's going to be fine. Now, let me give it a sniff. Yeah, that doesn't smell too bad. Is there like a rule that I'm following? No, I wish there were. I wish there was a formula I was using here to come up with these ratios. It's just sort of my instinct. And I don't know how to codify that for you. I don't know how to tell you to translate that into a system you can follow. I honestly, the only thing I can tell you is that I've done a lot of these drinks. I've got some crushed ice from before. I think that's where we want to go. Let's throw that crushed ice into here. Yeah, that's actually... At first I thought it was a little light, but now I'm thinking that's exactly the right amount. There. Pour this into, go to the bar shot and shake it. With this crushed ice, we don't need to be real aggressive. We're not going to get a lot of aeration. Although this drink, this combination of ingredients, I could see it benefiting from aeration, like a big heavy mover, like a big weighty cube in there, really shaking it around. Might not be the worst idea. But that ship has sailed. I'm going to go into pouring mode, and away we go. Huh. It's a smaller glass than I thought, so it looks like we're going to actually want to strain this. But, partially open at least. It ain't pretty, guys. It ain't gonna be pretty. We're just testing this out. We're just gonna see if this is any good. Let's see what we got here. This is apparently called a dark senpai. It's not bad. It's weird. I'm applauding myself for inclusion of lemon, because without the tartness, this would just be one note. Let's think here for a second. What does it taste like? It's sweet. You know, really, honestly, what it tastes like is it tastes a little bit like one of those chocolate oranges that you smash. A little bit. Saber Metal Pencer said it was equal parts of everything. I don't know if I can do it again, Saber. Come on. You're killing me, man. Well, my version's not equal parts of everything. Yeah, try it equal parts. I don't know, man. It's really, really sweet. And I don't get any coconut out of it. Maybe a little, yeah. Get a little bit of that, like... Get a little bit of that, like, tanning oil flavor. This is not a good drink. This is not very good. Has very little character. It's very one note. It is... Maybe if you threw it in a blender and made it a little bit sweeter, actually. I know that sounds insane, but... Where the heck is my... in front of my eyeballs. I bet that if we just sweeten this up a little bit extra, believe it or not, even though it's already very sweet, I have a funny feeling that is going to help it taste more correct. Because what you wind up with, to me, is something that's almost in the space of like a Coca-Cola or maybe even a Manhattan Special, like a coffee soda. And I think just adding more sugar is going to help it get all the way there, and it'll be less weird. A little less weird. I've never heard of Newfoundland Screech. We hate this drink. No, not great. Not my fave. Have I ever heard of a drink called a foghorn? Hang on, I'm gonna get back to that. Thanks for everything. I'm a preschool teacher. I'd say that your whole crew have got me through so much. I've gotten into mixology because of you guys. I love you guys. Austin. Well, thank you for being a preschool teacher. That's like serious stuff, man. That's for real. Thank you. As a person who owns a preschooler, is that right? As a parent to a preschooler, I know what you're up against, sort of. Have you heard of a foghorn? It's a simple drink. I'll say. 1 part gin, 2 parts ginger ale, and 1 lime splash. Although it may be known as a gin mule, I say. It's a joke, boy. I can't assume there's got to be a foghorn leghorn difference. Unfortunately, I got no ginger ale on hand, so I can't test that. Or ginger. I have Everclear, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't mind the taste, but there's a weird mouth feeling when I drink it. You're not supposed to drink it! You're not supposed to drink Everclear. I think it says it on the bottle. It's for making tinctures. It's for making infusions. It's for creating other things. It's hand sanitizer. Please do not directly drink your Everclear. Watching while I work in a clinic fighting COVID. Couple hours and it's cocktail time. Keep it up. When you say fighting COVID, I hope you mean like as on the medical support side, and that you're not planning to get drunk from your hospital bed. If you are literally coping with a case of COVID-19, please just water. Stay away from alcohol. Thank you. But I'm assuming that you are a nurse or doctor or physician's assistant or one of the other people, people who work in there. And in that case, thank you very, very, very much for your efforts. And you certainly enjoy a drink. But, after hours. Sean Lake, I'm interested in beer cocktails. It doesn't seem like there are any more out there. And the ones I've tried are kind of awful. I did come up with a hard cider and gin cocktail, if you're interested. Sean Lake. So beer cocktails. 1, in the face of distilled spirits Sorry about that. Beer's got a hard time showing up. It just doesn't have... It's not as aggressive as spirit. It doesn't have the flavor. I mean, maybe flavor's the wrong word, but like, if you sink a shot into a beer, do you really taste the beer? Maybe. You know, it kind of gets lost. And that's before you really make a cocktail out of it. Michelada is a great beer cocktail. Red Eye is okay. We did, what was it? Oh man, that's a good one. One of the drinks from my White Russian revisit involved a beer, like a porter. Oh, that was so good. I don't know if that was the Naughty Dog. I think the Naughty Dog was root beer. One of them, though, had actual beer, and it was super duper good. Somebody, Marcus, is from my Twitch. Remember my question yesterday regarding Southern Comfort on Twitch? Just add Coca-Cola to it. It's fine. That's the way to do it. I feel like I'm spamming, but have I got any recommendations for use with a peach syrup? Peach syrup. Would I do an episode on Jameson cold brew? I surely would. Under the right conditions. Yeah, it was the Dude's Delight. The Dude's Delight had beer in it, and that's a great use of beer. And also, my Mutter's Milk is kind of close to a Dude's Delight. It has beer in it as well. Is it weird if I fall asleep to your videos? ASMR. It's not weird, Michael, but, you know, you don't need to tell me. Okay, so... what was the question? It was a good one. It was shit. Damn it. Hell ass kings. Beer cocktails, that's what we were talking about. So it's tricky. Beer don't stand up, and those are my beer suggestions. Mutter's Milk. Just so you guys know, the person who is typing as how to drink isn't me, that's Meredith, and she's a big fan of that Mutter's Milk. She's also a big fan of old Joss Whedon, which I am not. But, yeah, my Iron Price, that's a beer drink too. That's a flip. That's not my drink. I mean, it is my drink, it's my own twists on it, but that's a really old style of recipe called a flip. Or called flip. I feel like when you put the in front of it, flip, you're implying a cold drink, kind of like in the vein of an eggnog, you know, a flip. Whereas flip, if you make flip, that is a beer thing. Meredith is she's taking over my account and she's standing Buffy now. Fuck! Ever made something with blue curacao and cranberry? Not specifically, but, you know, you could do I mean, that's basically, you're describing the basis of a Cosmo. You could do a blue Cosmo. Why not? Any ideas how to experiment with Angry Balls? Drew, you're gonna have to help me out there. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what, though? I do have this peanut butter whiskey. Let me walk over there and grab the bottle. Where did I put it? It's over there. And we'll see if we can do something with that. Oh, wait. Have I ever read The Lies of Locke Lamora? I have not. But people have mentioned the interesting drinks. Thank you, Ashley, for that recommendation. Be right back. Be right back. I'm just going to walk off frame. I'm back. It was a quick one. So this is Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. And I've had so many requests for my thoughts on Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Ethan Alford, I think I'm going to answer your question. That's a good question, and we should fucking do it. Obviously, I've had a few drinks, so my sailor mouth has come out. I've become a truck driver. You guys want to see it in slow-mo? You want to see it in close-up? Here it is. Ooh, that's Screwball Whiskey. There it is. All right. Okay. What is this shit about? What is Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey about? My God. I don't even know if that smells like peanut butter. It smells like peanut butter, but honestly, it smells a lot like caramel. It smells like caramel corn, like kettle corn. Now I'm getting more peanut butter smell. I haven't sipped it yet. It looked like I did, but I failed. My lips didn't make it all the way to the water, to the juice, to the whiskey. Screwball's donating money to USBG. Screwball, here's to you. That is so sweet. My God, there's so much sugar in that. That's fine. Okay, I can see why people like this. This doesn't taste anything like whiskey, even remotely. This tastes like peanut butter juice. It is delicious. Oh my God. Screwball peanut butter whiskey to the Misfits, Black Sheep, and the little Screwballs. It's 70 proof. So it's 5%, it's 35%. 5% under what you would consider a spirit. 80 proof or 40% alcohol by volume. And it contains peanuts. And I had this idea that you could mix this with chocolate liqueur, but like you can just drink it straight. Or at least I can. Okay. You do get a little bit of acetate because it's okay whiskey. Let's go, guys. They're giving their money to a good cause, so we're not going to be too critical. But it's not the best. Maybe the base spirit isn't so super great. Peanut butter and Chambord would be a peanut butter and jelly. That's not bad. Let's do two. Let's do the peanut butter and jelly, and we got to do. I think first, and I'm already set up for it. A peanut butter cup. I'm actually going to put the peanut butter cup in this because it feels right. It feels like a shape and size of a peanut butter cup. So I'm just going to rinse that out. Peanut butter cup coming up. Running water would be nice, guys. I ain't got it. Okay, peanut butter cup. So we know it's got to be Screwball, and we know it's got to have some chocolate. So I think, and I wish I had some egg white or heavy cream because, man, it wants that. It needs that texture. Okay, we're going to skip that, though. That's okay. Okay, so let's do... Don't spill. Let's do 1.5 ounces of our Screwball peanut butter whiskey. Okay. And let's do... Let's do an equal measure of creme de cacao. Not the good stuff here. Kierman Walker creme de cacao. 1.5 ounces creme de cacao. Pardon. Pardon me. Alright. So he wants more robot sounds. More robot sounds! Yeah! I just feel like, if you guys watch Bob's Burgers, I can only read that in Zeke's voice. More robot sounds, yeah! That's not a good Zeke's voice, but I love Zeke. He's one of my favorite guys. Yeah. It still smells like popcorn. I don't know why it smells like popcorn. It's gonna sound crazy, but I think a little Angostura bitters, like 2 dashes, 3 dashes, not a bad option there. Oh, that really gives it a little character. Does it need sweetness? It probably actually does. The whiskey was already sweet to me, but I drink stuff, you know, so. Let's put in 1/2 ounce of simple. This is a 2-to-1 Demerara. Okay. It's funny, we're gonna shake this, but truly this could have been a stirred drink. Really why I wish I had an egg white, but I'm not gonna go get one. Like I said, I'm conserving my eggs. I really like eating eggs. Just so you guys know, let me tell you something here. You take some French lentils, the good ones, the green ones. They're a little bit more round, a little less flat, okay? You take them, you get yourself some dried mushrooms, any mushroom you want, and some vegetable broth. And they sell vegetable broth in a box. You can get it at any, you can get organic vegetable broth at Trader Joe's or at Wegmans or any grocery store you like it these days. Or you make your own. Or you just add salt and water on here. And you put them together into a crock pot. You dice up a shallot or some onions. You dice up a little garlic, throw that in there, saute it, sweat them out with some olive oil, let them like soft. Throw in then you throw in your lentils, and then you throw in your broth. And boy, if you had some green onions, maybe you could have used that too. That's some nice things. And you get your dried mushrooms in there, and then you put it all together in your instant pot, and you pressure cook that for like 15 minutes or something like that on high, with a little bit of water, with a little bit of that broth in there. Oh my God, that's so good. I love those lentils. I'll eat them for a week. And then, and this is the kicker, when you serve them, over easy or just like sunny side up. Don't even flip it. Don't flip it. Just a little egg, a little canola oil actually is not a bad choice here, but if you got olive oil, go with olive oil. Canola oil is probably a little bit better. Over easy egg, put that right on top of your lentils. Oh! Let that yolk get up into the lentils. That is, I can live on that. I'm telling you, I can live on that. A little sea salt, a little salt and pepper, a little pepper. Man of shitpost, what the fuck is going on? You better get up to speed. You better get up to speed, because no one's going to do it for you, okay? All right. Let's see if this is a drink yet. Obviously, we got to shake this with some ice. I do think that this is not a bad choice for an egg white or a cream or something like that, but I ain't got it. That was funny. Really kind of came together. I just don't have it on hand, and I'm not going to bother. Okay, and that is maybe this is a peanut butter cup. I hope. I don't know. Who knows? What's anything anymore? Who wants to make some lentils? Think about lentils for dinner now. You guys are going to give me the worst hangover. Okay. All right. This is, maybe it's the peanut butter cup. Let's find out. There's nothing in there that needed it to be shaken. Tastes like a peanut butter cup to me. I gotta say, that's spot on. God damn. Wow. Holy heck, that is a peanut butter cup. Make shots of that. Do not, I would say that should be, it's so sweet. It is so sweet. It's so sweet. So sweet that I would do it in little 1 ounce shot glasses, just a taste. The idea of having a whole glass of this is outrageous. It might actually be less rich if you added milk or heavy cream or egg white to it, just because it would put more space into it. It would add space between molecules of sweetness. That is a peanut butter cup. What did I put in there? Man, I don't remember. It was equal parts. It was 1.5 ounces of the screwball, 1.5 ounces of the chocolate, and 1/2 ounce of Demerara Simple, shaken quite vigorously. Oh, and a couple of dashes of Ango. They're a little bit lost. You might want to go a little heavier on that if that's what you're looking to get out of there. You know what's funny though is I bet, and this is crazy, but I bet some Peychaud's, I bet a little anisette, Peychaud's, or if you were to do it with just like a rinse of absinthe, actually, probably wouldn't be a crazy idea. Just to add a little bit of that herbaceousness, just to... Oh, no, that's different. That's interesting. That brings a little bit of complexity to it. A lot of complexity to it. Yeah, if you brought in a little bit of that anisette, a little either Peychaud's or Angostura into that, it like, you ever make a chocolate chip cookie and it's got just the right amount of salt in it and you can feel it attacking the sides of your tongue, and it just like your mouth waters and it just makes it sweeter and it works really well together? That's what the anisette does there. That's what the Peychaud's is doing, or I think an absinthe, maybe a little bit less. It just kind of helps those flavors work in the drink. And that would be my go-to. For a slightly more sophisticated version, if you skip the bitters of the absinthe, yeah, like a dash of saline, exactly. That's not a crazy idea either. Do some shota. I think you mean shots. We're not pouring that out. Dangerous little sucker. It's a ridiculous drink. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot better than the Dark Senpai. No offense. Okay, what's next? Shots. I don't know who does it. I'm not up on the hip hop, but what was that song that was popular in the early 2000s? I remember driving around when I was working in Atlantic City. It was like, the lyrics were like, everybody in the club's getting tipsy. I've always thought it was about him bragging about how like rich he is, because he's like, everybody in the club's getting tips. That's what I've always heard. But is that Little John? Yeah. Everybody in the club getting tips. And I was just like, what a nice guy. He's got a little something there. He wants to spread it around. Now, if you want to spread it around, might I recommend that you donate generously to the U.S. Bartenders Guild COVID-19 Bartenders Relief Fund. It assists anybody who is a tips-based employee. Well, really, it assists anybody who's in the business of serving alcohol to guests in a restaurant. So your bar backs, bar apprentices, bar assistants, all those things. I've never been. And the bartenders, of course, and the servers, who now are really out on a limb. They have no safety net for these people. There's, the amount of money that you're going to make off of your $2.13 an hour, or $2.31. Is it 13 or 31? I don't know, something like that. Minimum wage. What the amount they're going to make when it comes to unemployment is frankly offensive. And so these people need a huge amount of help, and they are a huge portion of our community and our economy. And they are our fellow humans. I was going to say citizens, but they're really not. They're fellow humans. And they're going to need a bridge to get them through the next round of payments. Now, hopefully, we're going to get some stuff here done as far as mortgage suspensions for temporary time, which means rent suspension, and then loan suspension of payments for a lot of these things. And that there's going to be a national relief fund for people who are affected, basically everybody, by COVID-19. In the meantime, these guys have their rent due now, and they need a little help. So if you are feeling like you want to spread the tips around the club, everybody in the club getting tips, then why don't you donate a little bit to the USBG? That's dangerous. It's absolutely insane. That's a drink that you go to a frat party and somebody tells you, no, trust me, it's going to be very good. That's a total frat party. That's a very much a college drink. I probably shouldn't say that, but it just is. Clearing the Mind, thank you for giving me something fun to enjoy at the end of a long day and helping people in the world gone mad. Any good ideas of how to use a bottle of Talisker? Whiskey? I mean, you just drink it, man. Thank you, Clearing the Mind, so much for your generous amount there. But yeah, just drink it. You know, makes for a penicillin as well. Hey, by the way, since we're talking, you know, I can only. I'm a partner at Twitch. I have to confess that. So I'm legally, contractually, I'm not supposed to be over here on YouTube. I got permission to be over here. But normally, this live show that you're watching right now, I do this all the time on Twitch. So if you like what you're watching, why don't you hop on over to the link right there, which is twitch.tv/Greg from HTD, and give a follow, because we'll be doing this tomorrow and probably the next day on Twitch, really for the duration, certainly, of the coronavirus. We're doing a lot of things over there. It's not just gaming. It's definitely not just gaming. It's this. This is what's happening over there. So if you're into this and you want to see it on a regular basis, check it out on Twitch. But I'm very happy to be doing this with you today on YouTube. Meredith! That's true. We do have another YouTube channel called H2D2. H2D2 is my second channel on YouTube, and I don't have a link handy. Maybe Meredith can throw it up there in the chat. Up there. Meredith, it's over there for you, right? It's over there for me in the chat. And H2D2 is where Twitch streams go after they are live, you know, to die. Okay. How about a Canadian Gold Rush? 2 ounces of rye, 1 ounce of maple syrup, and 1 ounce of lemon juice. Mr. Arldy. That sounds like a good drink. I might try that. Ooh, make us your favorite zombie. I don't have the ingredients on hand, I don't think. But let's try this Canadian Gold Rush. Can you guys stand by for 1 minute while I go and grab a couple of ingredients? My maple syrup is up in the kitchen. So let me go do that, and I will be right back. Hold on a second. Let's make sure that stays up. Canadian Gold Rush. 2 ounces of rye, 1 ounce of maple, 1 ounce of lemon. We got that. Let's do that drink. I'll be right back. And I'm back! So we're going to make a Canadian Gold Rush. Let's do it. 2 ounces of rye, 1 ounce of maple, and 1 ounce of lemon. So that's a shake and drink. I should have remained to be right back until I rinsed out and washed out my shaker and stuff. Okay. Let's do her.
When Canadian Gold Rush.
Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit tipsy, so that means just the singing has to start now. Keep being awesome, Greg, says Stephen Bates. No, Stephen. You 7 Bates. Sorry, you keep being awesome. Gosh darn it. So let's start with an ounce of lemon. And I actually have a couple of okay. Let me ask you guys a question. Where are you going to go when you're no longer sheltering in place? When you're no longer trapped in your home? Where are you going? I'm heading to the Keys, let me tell you. So we want 1 ounce of lemon juice. Uh-oh. We forgot to go to the close-up. Ooh, yeah. Look at that. Back to work, hopefully, says Frozen Peppers. Oh boy. Disneyland is shut out the day I was going to ride Rise of the Resistance for the first time. Oh man. That does suck. I haven't been on it myself. It looks interesting. I have to wonder though, like, so I'm really sensitive about this stuff now that I've got a kid. Like, is Rise of the Resistance okay for a 3-year-old? Like, I know that she meets the height requirements, but like, it's a lot of guns, there's a lot of violence. I don't know. You know, like, in a weird way because there's no people, it's just spaceships and stuff. The one with the yeah. A little bit weird. A little bit of a weird lemon, but we're gonna use it anyway. And the other one, the Smuggler's Run, is a little bit less, it's a little more abstract. Okay. 1 ounce of lemon juice. Hopefully it's not too funkified. Although something's a little weird about that lemon. And a whole ounce of maple syrup. It's a crazy amount of maple syrup. You'll find I have excellent 100% pure Trader Joe's maple syrup right here. One ounce of maple. Oh, I forgot my rye. I had rye in mind too. Let me go get my bottle of rye. I'll be right back. So this bottle of Canadian Club Rye, obviously the only choice we could make here, right? So let's put that in there. Is it enough for 2 ounces? I only had 1.5 ounces. Okay. Well, this is embarrassing. Just sit tight on that, guys. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna walk across the room and grab a bottle of Rittenhouse to top that up with. There's that Rittenhouse I was telling you about. Okay. I'm tapping it as fast as I can, Mom. Okay, top that up with Rittenhouse rye. Alright, and in she goes. We missed a little, so a little extra splash there. Doesn't happen all the time, but generally when I'm 3 or 4 drinks in, it does. Okay. Bar. Alright. We're going to shake that over ice. Come on here, Bar. 1 big cube, sort of. And we'll crack this sucker. Anybody into some good TV? Anybody watched, well, did you watch The Outsider on HBO? Man, I liked that. And maybe you'd be interested in seeing this from, whoa. Maybe you'd be interested in seeing this from overhead. Because I miss as I flail wildly. I don't know what is up with this ice, but it doesn't want to crack. Doesn't want to do it. Probably that frost was cushioning the blow. Watch the outside. You're watching The Plot Against America? That's a good one. Okay. Woo! That was one of the most difficult ice cubes I've ever had to crack. I don't know why. It just was. It just was. All over here. Just turning in circles. Just turning in circles. Just whirling and whirling and whirling in circles. Wow! Everything's getting wet and covered in alcohol. Okay. We've got our glass here. Let's pour this into that and go back to the master shot. That's our drink. Not my... a little bit of an unpleasant pour there. Okay, Mr. Air Lady. This is a Canadian Gold Rush. Wow, that's more balanced than you would think. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That is cool. Hang on a second. I get pecans in there. Oh, as I spill it on the floor. For the best. If I drink this all, I'm going to be in big trouble. And it's not a good idea to be in big trouble on live YouTube. Let's clean things up here so that... I do have to be careful about the fact that, like, this is my computer mouse. This is the only mouse I have. I suppose I'm allowed to buy another one. I suppose finance would allow that. Okay. One more time, the Canadian Gold Rush. That's really neat. It's a weird drink. So one thing I would say is that every maple syrup I've ever had has been wildly different from the next. So that's going to have a huge effect on this drink. I get a tart flavor up front that's a little bit like grapes. It kind of reminds me of something like a sherry or anything that had been aged on sherry casks. It's a little bit sweet and raisiny. I'll slip into Maritimer for you. I have a lot of relatives in the Maritimes. I'll tell you, it's just a great drink. It just slips right in there. It's how she goes. She goes steady. She goes steady. She goes, boys. It's a little bit tart and very sweet and a little bit raisiny and a little bit oaky, if you can. And we've reached slurring, boys. We've reached slurring, boys, eh? I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but like the Canadian accent that Americans think is the quote Canadian accent is actually a Toronto or Ontario accent. My relatives are from the Maritimes. They sound more like the Pikeys from Snatch. The Pikeys from Slack. The Pikeys from Snatch. Very fast, very Irish sounding. Very, very like, what was that? Not at all like a Second City TV. Yeah, or Newfies sound that way too, Maxwell. Not at all like Second City TV Canadian. A. Yeah, I don't wipe. Anyway, so how's she flowing there, boys? Yeah, steady she goes. It's a cool drink. I don't hate that at all. And it goes through phases. The first step is that it is weirdly tart but sweet. And then it shifts into this grape flavor, but not grape, but like oaked grape, like an Armagnac or a cognac. And then that gives way to, for me, for the maple syrup, I'm using the maple syrup, which has a slight pecan. It tastes like pecans. It tastes like sweet pecan pie. Fuck, bud, you're getting drinker than a Maple Leaf Sand there in the cup. Says Maxwell Andres. Yeah, well, I mean, such are the hazards of my profession as your internet drunk. I like that a lot. That's a cool drink. All right. Let's go through the expensive comments, as I say. Do a buffalo sweat. It'll cure or kill you of all the things. John, I gotta read that again. Do a buffalo sweat. It'll cure or kill you of all the things. But seriously, I just want to cheers you with an Oscar Blues Pale Ale and say, keep on keeping on, my friend, my favorite nerd, bartender. Cheers. All right, thank you, John Jenna. Sequa. I don't know what a buffalo sweat is, though. It sounds cool. Hey, Greg, I'm a big fan. I'm loving the stream. How about you make a good drink using at least 2 of the most obscure ingredients you have on hand? Wow, that's wild. I have a 12-year-old El Dorado Demerara rum, and I have no idea what to do with it. Okay, I can answer Logan Sullen's question very easy. Drink it. My God. Everything will be good with that rum. Take that El Dorado, that 12-year-old El Dorado, and make... Look, there are drinks you make for you and your significant other alone. You're going to take that El Dorado, and you're going to make the best daiquiris for you two. Or just yourself. When you have company over, don't use it. Yeah, it's just gonna make better drinks. I mean, my God, that's great stuff. You know what you should make with that? I would make a Queen's Park Squizzle. I think it'd be fantastic with an El Dorado 12. Fantastic. Okay. Oi, lad. First, you're doing great. I love your profession. Do you have an idea what to do with Green Fairy absinthe? Well, that is from Cercion Brassman. Well, you could do traditional absinthe preparation. There's the 2 drinks that come to mind if you're really looking to feature absinthe are either absinthe, as prepared by a fountain or lushed absinthe, which is, absinthe measured 1 part to 5 parts water with a couple of sugar cubes thrown in. The water should be very cold, nearly frozen, and dripped slowly over it so that you get to watch the louche happen. And the other one is an absinthe frappe. I don't actually have the recipe in my head for the absinthe frappe, but it's a very simple drink. It's mostly crushed ice and absinthe, and maybe a little simple. First time caller, long time listener, lots of supplies, but a ton of tonic water. Besides the G&T, what can I make? That's a great question, actually. I don't know. I can't think of anything that calls for tonic off the top of my head other than a G&T. Wait a second now. Somebody had a question I wanted to go back to, and it's gone now. Let's look at this window. Right. William Goodridge says, hey Greg, big fan, loving the stream. How about you try to make a good drink using at least 2 of the most obscure drinks ingredients you have on hand? Oh man, that's weird. What do I have on hand that's obscure? I mean, to some people, man, that's cool. It just has a real evolution. Really goes places, man. Enjoying that. What do I have on hand that's obscure? How much does it cost to get a really full bar like yours. Felix, I had to make it my career. What do I have that's obscure? At least two very obscure ingredients. Well, right here, I have mahia. Let's talk about mahia in a minute. And I have Quina Learo d'Or. Now, what are these two things? This is North African fig brandy. It's an eau de vie produced from figs in North Africa, and actually, frequently by it's kosher in most cases of production. It's produced by the Jewish population in North Africa. Maghreb Jews de Maghreb, and it has, it has some funk and some kick and some punch to it. Okay, so what is that? Well, we use that in a drink that I made a little while ago, Family Label, which was we kind of came to the conclusion that this is what they're drinking in the tent scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark, when Belloch says, "I grew up with this stuff. It's my family label," as a joke, because the bottle in Arabic, which we cannot read as Americans, says the family label. So the other thing I've got over here is Quina Learo d'Or. And I say this is, the most obscure ingredients I have, probably, maybe. Mahia is pretty rare, at least where I'm at. And then this is Quina Learo d'Or with a sweet cherry kind of nose, but also a very biting, piney, quinine kind of nose. Now, Quina Learo d'Or, this is made by Tempest Fugit Spirits, and they make great stuff. They make a lot of kind of resurrections of long dead bottles. This is essentially Quina Lillet. You've heard of Lillet Blanc, and maybe if you're a James Bond fan, you've heard of Quina Lillet. Quina Lillet is the ingredient that he specifically refers to in making a Vesper. Quina Lillet is no longer on the market. What makes a spirit a quina or a quina? It is the inclusion of quinine or cinchona bark or tonic. It's the same ingredient in tonic water. It's an anti-malarial ingredient. It has a very bitter, biting. If you've ever had tonic water, that's what the flavor is. So we've got a bitter tonic liqueur and a funky fig brandy. How do we bring these together? What is this drink? Well, I think it's going to be, I think this is a stirred drink. And I think we're probably going to need something to bridge the gap. I think we'll use a Blanc Vermouth. I think that the Blanc Vermouth, between these two, with a few other little twists, might work just fine. But that's going to have to wait, for I am but a man, and a man must go to the bathroom. So I'm going to go to the bathroom. And I'm going to hit the be right back button. But when I come back, we're going to make this drink the most obscure drink I can make. And I've got a few other twists up my sleeve on this one. I think this is going to be pretty interesting. I hope that you will stick around. Give me 5 minutes, and I'll be right back with a mixing glass, and we will mix up whatever in the heck this is going to be. I'm back. And no, I was not, as Craig Neuper says, taking a dump. I just wasn't. Okay, so this right here is our mixing glass. We've got our 3 ingredients. We asked for obscure ingredients, but I think we can do even better. I think we can even go further with this whole thing. Now, let me just rinse this feller out. Okay, put that someplace I can visibly see it. Just for the record, guys, the wife just flagged me, so I don't know how much more I can do with this. But she saw me in the kitchen. She said, "Stop. Stop." Okay, let's think here for a second. I think we've got this glass. I want an absinthe rinse in that glass. Oops, wrong button there. I'm just gonna let that roll around inside there. Okay. And what you can't see is that I'm gonna dump the drips that come off of it into a little bucket back here. We're gonna set that aside. Okay. That's our absinthe rinse. Now into our build glass. I'm thinking half an ounce of Quina Learo Dior. Where's the trigger go? Oh, in front of my face. Oh boy, that's not a good sign. Half an ounce of Quina Learo Dior. Okay. Got right into the cut on my finger. Wow, that hurts. Oh man, that hurts. Oh my God. And the next ingredient will be 3/4 of an ounce of this Dolon Blanc Vermouth. Sorry guys, I'm making this up as I go along. I don't know what shots I'm going to use as I use them. Okay. Now a Blanc Vermouth is, it's like a dry vermouth. It's in that same space, but it's basically like a sweetened dry vermouth in my opinion. It has the same kind of notes as far as spices and herbs go. It's just not so dry. 2 ounces of Mahia. There it is. Now we've got a drink here. You know what I think this needs? I think this needs some orange bitters. Orange bitters. It's got, I'm not in love with the nose on that, but I think we're gonna be okay. Let's shake it, let's stir it up, make a drink out of this thing. Well, may as well stay up here like an ice cube. Come on, baby. Frozen together cube block. And I want to point out too, if you like what you're seeing, if you're interested in live bar stuff, Well, you gotta know that I do this all the time over on Twitch. This is like pretty standard content for us over there. So if you're into it, I hope you'll stop by and check it out. I would be happy to have you over there. Okay. Let's crack some ice. Not really enough ice. Not really enough ice. Let's get a little more ice in there. Let's get some more ice in there. There you go. There you go. Okay. Well, actually. What I'm feeling for is, one, how tight is my ice? Like, how much pack is there in there? Okay, that seems to be pretty good. Is it starting to get loose around my spoon? Let's see what I've got here. You know what? I think this drink needs a little bit of sweetness, and I've got this honey syrup. I think a half an ounce of honey syrup, not crazy. I think it fig, that flavor, it doesn't, when you distill something, you strip it of all of its sugar. And so sometimes if something is like from a fruit, a big component of a fruit's flavor, like a fig, is its sweetness. When you take it away from that sweetness, it doesn't really taste like itself anymore. But if you put a little sweetness back in it, you can bring it out. Much better. Dramatic improvement. You know what? I brought out that glass and I rinsed an absinthe in it, so we'll use that. But I had one in the freezer too. Okay. Okay. And I think, woo, we lost a spoon, guys. We should do this. I think we want a peel of lemon and one of these. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Drop that down in. And this is the drink I made that supposedly is going to be good for my obscure cocktail ingredients. Hey, guess what, guys? It's good. Give me 1 second to collect my thoughts. Alexander, Juggernog is coming. I've got a whole episode doing Perca-Colas on the way. So, for those of you who want to know, this drink is a half an ounce of Quina Liero d'Or, a half an ounce of Dolin Blanc vermouth, 2 ounces of mahia, and a half an ounce of honey syrup, with an absinthe rinse and a twist of lemon. We did PB&J. Okay, yeah, we should go back to that, Austin. We'll try that one more time. Now, this is a sophisticated drink. I know we added honey to it, but it's actually still very dry, very spirit forward. That's why I added that honey, to kind of moderate that. It was a little over the top before. Truth be told, I think the absinthe is a little bit lost. I don't know that we need that. Mahia has a lot of flavor. Mahia brings a funk to it that is really different from a rum funk. It is a... Oh, man, how do you place that? I mean, it tastes like figs here. And I think that the honey is helping. So Mahia on its own can taste a little bit bitter, a little bit biting, which is what's left of that fruit when you distill out the sugars. But when you put a little honey in it, a little sweetness, you bring that back. And what's interesting about the honey is, I think that honey brings a different kind of sweetness to it than the fructose that would have been in there naturally. This is a bitter, but approachably bitter drink. It is not comfort food. It's a little bit cerebral. You know, if you're going to, whereas this right here, comfort food, this is fried chicken. You eat this and you're going to say, that's good. I don't need to think at all about what the flavors are. I don't need to be interested. All I know is this tastes like peanut butter and chocolate. This is a cocktail. You have to pull it apart. You have to think about, well, what is it? What is it trying to say? Think about it in the way that you might, a piece of art in a gallery. What is this about? So we get lemon right up front. We then get immediately this kind of grainy bitterness. I mean, it makes me think of wheat or cornfields, but doesn't taste like eating wheat or cornfields. So maybe what I'm thinking of is actually dirt. It's the quinine in the Quina Liero d'Or. It tastes bitter. It tastes metallic. It brings in this kind of an iron quality that you would get from earth, peaty, mossy earth. And that's what the quinine tastes like, right? And it kind of attacks your senses a little bit. It is bitter. It doesn't overpower, though, because that is immediately overtaken by figs. And you immediately get this kind of fig Newton, I would say taste, but in truth, I feel like I'm experiencing that with a different part of my sensing. It's more like an aroma. It's more like it tastes of this earthy bitterness with an aroma of sweet figs. And it's a strange combination that sort of hang out in tension with each other. And frankly, it's pretty enjoyable. Who's Bells? I'm not seeing comments by Bells if they're a spammer. But if you are a spammer, Bells, you better watch out. I'm coming for you. And it has a very long evolution. I'm still tasting new flavors. The honey and the fruit really take over very late in its evolution. This is pretty cool. This is like nothing I've ever had. And I forget who made the original comment, but it was, why don't you make something from the two most obscure spirits in your liquor cabinet? And I went with Mahia, which was up here. Excuse me. And Quina Liero d'Or, which was up here. And they're both French in their, their production, no. But they are connected to France because Mahia is, of course, from, if I'm not mistaken, originates in Tunisia, which was a French colony. And Quina Liera d'Or is French. So what will we name this? French. What would we name this? What would we name this? What would I name this drink? I'm having a hard time with this. This would be a of course. This drink is called The Stranger. In reference, of course, to Albert Camus' novel, The Stranger. It takes place in Algiers, French colony in North Africa. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of stuff here in the comments, and frankly, I'm a little bit drunk, so I think I'll answer some questions before I make another drink, if I make another drink, frankly. How many people are watching? How many people are watching right now? 2640. That's a good number. Willow. Willow is obscure. Do you know how many times I've watched Willow when I was a kid? I can't even remember. I don't remember the details on it, but I watched a lot. Let's see here. A lot of good names for drinks that I didn't use. Saint Germain goes very well with grapefruit, screwdriver with a squeeze of lime. I believe it. Call it an Oddfellow. Call it the death of Italy. Steve says no lentils. Steve's wrong. Give me those lentils. Tunisia wasn't a French colony? It wasn't? Oh, I apologize. Have you ever had something you drank? Have you ever drank something you hated so much that you want to throw up? Yes. Gaoling wine by Zhou, I thought was poison. I really had to question whether or not it was safe for human consumption after I swallowed it, and I did think about inducing vomiting to the Blood Countess 13. Samantha Young, my local distillery makes a very good cinnamon vodka and a coconut rum. Any ideas for either of them? So, Samantha, I don't have anything specific off the top of my head, but if you look through the pantheon of tiki drinks, you will find calls for cinnamon syrup and for coconut as a flavor. Consider substituting either of those in place of the stuff that they're calling for, like a cinnamon. If you know where it calls for a cinnamon syrup, consider using your cinnamon vodka. Can you improve this drink called Kryptonite? It's Mountain Dew with 2 ounces of vodka and a splash of blue curacao. My gaming group fave, Kryptonite. So it's green, Mountain Dew, vodka, curacao, blue curacao. Kryptonite, Mountain Dew, alcohol, blue curacao. So my first thought is, when you say improve, what do you mean? Here's what I would do. I would take the vodka and I would replace the vodka. Let's assume it's a 2 ounce pour of vodka. I would replace it with 1 ounce of rum barbecourt white and 1 ounce of Smith and Cross, and 4 dashes of Angostura bitters, okay? I would replace the vodka component there with that. Now that's going to bring in a ton of character, ton of flavors that the vodka is, of course, not bringing. You may not love all of them, but it's going to add a lot of things to pull apart from this drink, right? Whether or not you like them is about taste, personal preference, and I can't control for that. Then you have some blue curacao in there. I'm going to keep that. Otherwise, I think I keep this the same. I would take the 1 ounce of Bourbon Court White, 1 ounce of Smith and Cross, and the 4 dashes of Ango bitters with a half an ounce of lime. I'm going to shake them over ice aggressively. Then I'm going to pour those over fresh ice into a Collins glass or a highball, and I'm going to top that with Mountain Dew. Give it just the briefest of stirs to get everything integrated. And then I'm going to run a float of blue curacao over the top. I'm going to run a float of blue curacao over the top. That will be my improvement on that drink. Says Ernesto Prieto, you are the reason we buy 4 Roses, single barrel, electrolytes and spice. I agree, Ernesto. I agree. Favorite drink with your favorite bitters. My favorite drink with my favorite bitters is a Trinidad Sour, which is an ounce of lime, an ounce of orgeat, an ounce of Angostura bitters, and 1 egg white shaken aggressively. Dry and then with ice, and then poured up, I should say, into a stemmed piece of glassware. Just as a sport. Yeah, thank you, Ken. Ethan, ever work with a spirit called Applejack? Any cocktail ideas? Oh my god, Ethan. Can I and you have a conversation about Applejack? There's a little drink. There's a little drink called well, what is it called? This is called the Jack Rose. It's an Applejack drink, and I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to grab a couple bottles. We're going to take a look at making a Jack Rose right now. All right, I'm back. So we're gonna make a Jack Rose, and I don't have anything in the cask in the back. It's just for show at the moment. And you could call this drink an angry wife. She did just yell, "Are you finishing up?" But we're not. We're gonna do this Jack Rose. Now, what goes into a Jack Rose? So a Jack Rose is sort of, man, I love this drink. And I haven't had one in so long. That's why I'm excited to make one for you. A Jack Rose is sort of the, excuse me. Hold on man. Ow. Jesus. I'm just a mess. All right. Now, a Jack Rose is kind of the bog standard, if you will, for Applejack cocktails. Now, you're going to start by juicing, woo, hello, the juice of a lime. Oh, I had a lime already. So I want to take 1 ounce of lime juice. There we go. Get that going. Okay. 1 ounce of lime juice. And I'm going to put that into my shaker. It's a shake and drink. And the next thing I'm going to need, grenadine. Now, grenadine. What is grenadine? Grenadine is simple syrup made where you replace the water with pomegranate juice. Okay, that's really what it is. If you go to the grocery store and you see the bottles of Rose's grenadine, what they're trying to simulate is a syrup made from pomegranates. Okay, usually with a few drops or dashes of orange blossom water tossed in. Look at the ingredients on a bottle of Rose's grenadine. Is the first ingredient pomegranates? I'm going to tell you that the answer is no. The first ingredient will be high fructose corn syrup. As a matter of fact, if memory serves, pomegranate will show up absolutely nowhere in the recipe, in the ingredient list for Rose's grenadine. In fact, you probably think that grenadine tastes like cherries, but it doesn't. And you think that because it's red, so you think red flavor. Grenadine comes from, if I'm not mistaken, Spanish grenados, grenados, which is Spanish for pomegranates because they looked like grenades. Grenades are older than you might think. They go way back, like the 1800s, 1700s. We want a whole ounce of this stuff. Now, I made my own, which is why it's in this bottle. And how did I make it? Well, I got a bottle of wonderful pomegranate juice. It's fine. Is it made by an international mafia? Probably. But it's fine. It's real pomegranate juice. And then I balanced that with 2 parts sugar. So if I had 300 grams of Pom Wonderful, I added 600 grams of sugar. In my case, I would have used Demerara Simple because this is already dark and Demerara just has more character. And so we don't benefit by using a clear, bleached, washed sugar. Boil that till it is clear, till the sugar is dissolved. And throw in, 6 drops of orange blossom water. Orange blossom water is an ingredient you will find in a lot of North African, like Moroccan cooking, but it's super important here. So we want 1 ounce of this. Now, what's fun about this drink, by the way, the recipe for a Shirley Temple, when I make it, it's lime juice and pomegranate juice. Lime juice and grenadine plus seltzer. A lot of grenadine, little lime juice, like half as much. So like, an ounce or 2 ounces of lime juice to 4 ounces of grenadine to 8 or 10 ounces of carbonated water. So it's a similar profile, flavor-wise. We want 1 ounce of pomegranate juice. Or pomegranate juice. I keep saying pomegranate juice. I mean grenadine. Excuse me a moment. Pushing a lot of buttons. Excuse me a moment while I rinse this off. Now we want 2 ounces Applejack. Now what do I use for Applejack? Laird's straight apple brandy, bottled in bond. This is the stuff. If a drink calls for Applejack, this is the standard by which all other Applejacks are measured. Woo! It hurts when it gets into a cut on your finger. God damn! Woo, baby! That hurt. Yeah, wow! That is hot. That is hot and burning. Okay. Let's get some ice into our shaker and shake this sucker up right now. Let me talk about what Applejack is. So Applejack was, at one time in America, the most popular distilled spirit in the country. How do you make Applejack? Back in the 1700s, well, you have an apple orchard. You use your apples to make cider. Do you eat your apples? No. Nobody eats apples. You drink apples. You make beer from apples. Apple cider. Alcoholic apple cider. The concept of non-alcoholic cider, sweet cider as you might call it, did not exist in America prior to Prohibition. It was a joke. That was invented so that apple orchard growers could stay in business because of Prohibition. The phrase, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, that was marketing invented to keep apple growers afloat. So, Johnny Appleseed, what was he spreading? What joy? What bounty of God? You do know that the phrase, God is good, G-I-G, appeared on the yeast barrels, the yeast bottles of brewers prior to microbiology. When they didn't understand what was happening, they just thought, as our forefather Benjamin Franklin said, beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. They didn't know how it worked. They just thought that that was proof of magic, spiritualism, Same is true for all of your alcohols. Didn't know how it worked. They just thought that was divine providence. Thank you for making life worth living. So you take your apples, right? You ferment your apples into a mash. Now you've got apple cider. You take your cider, you put it in a big barrel outside when it's freezing cold in the winter. And what happens? The water freezes into cubes. You scoop them out. What's left? The alcohol, the spirits, hopefully mostly ethyl alcohol, but also acetone, acetate, and a little methyl alcohol. Some things you don't want to drink. Things that a still would filter out if you were using it correctly. Things that a barrel will not. But what you have just done is jacked your cider. You have made Applejack. You have used the process of distillation or jacking to concentrate the alcohol and get rid of the useless H2O that nobody wanted to drink back in the day. You've made strong spirits. Okay, so that's what Applejack is. Traditionally, it was apple brandy, but it was apple brandy made via the process of jacked distillation. Are there people bottling for mass consumption jacked apple cider? No. Are there small, microscopic craft distillers making it? Yeah, maybe. But the truth of the matter is that jacking is a really inferior method of distillation. It does not discriminate, right? So when I put this through if I take my cider and I put it through a still, I'm going to look at the heads and the tails and the foreshots and the after shots, and I'm going to cut those away, and I'm just going to cut for the heart of that still output. I don't want methylene. I don't want acetate. I don't want acetone. I don't want any of the weird poison shit that can come out of that still. The poison stuff that comes out of yeast when they ferment something. I don't want to concentrate that. I just want the ethyl alcohol and some flavoring components. And it still gives you that control. A barrel in the cold does not. So in a barrel, when I am distilling, when I'm jacking in a barrel, I'm not picking which alcohol to come out. All I'm doing is throwing away the water. And that means I'm concentrating everything else. And some of that stuff is going to make you go blind. Some of that stuff is going to give you the worst hangover of your life. You're going to have neuropathy, maybe, if you drink enough of this stuff. You're going to get the shakes. You're going to have a lot of problems, nerve damage. Don't do it. Don't do it. Not worth it. So we've got a Jack Rose here made with lime, grenadine, and apple brandy, and an empty big shaker. We got to put some ice in that bad boy. Who's a big fan of the movie? Anybody here a big fan of the movie? Where's my ice knife? Ice knife. Ah, whatever. You guys ever see Captain Ron? Man, I love that movie. Woo! It's a stupid bad movie, but I love it. There we go. Boom. I dropped it on the floor? Shit. Well, it's gone now. Doesn't matter. There goes our drink. That is a Jack Rose waiting to be poured. Okay, I've got stuff all over the place here. It's a mess. This has become a mess. We've made a lot of drinks. This is a Jack Rose. Somebody asked me, what should you do with a spirit called Applejack? And I said, we should make a Jack Rose. What is a Jack Rose? 1 ounce of grenadine. Please use homemade grenadine. 1 ounce of lime juice and 2 ounces of... and 2 ounces of Applejack. And I strongly encourage you, at minimum, to look at Laird's Bottled and Bond straight apple brandy for your Applejack. Oh my God, that's good. I haven't had a Jack Rose in so long. God, that tastes like a green Jolly Rancher, but less sweet. It's got that sour apple thing. Oh, it's so good. That is delicious. It is sour and apple. It tastes like a sour apple pucker. It's like less sweet though. It's not like pucker is cloyingly sweet. NT as CZZAC. I can't remember. But you said it's a delight. You made your own Applejack. Yeah, man, that's a fucking great drink. It's a great drink. It is sour and sweet and appley in a way that is in perfect balance, just perfect. Just the ingredients are in harmonious tension. They're all pulling in different directions. You've got that lime that wants to pull the drink over to the sour land, and the grenadine, which wants to pull it over to sweet land with a nod to fruit. To, the pomegranate, maybe it's a little bit lost. And then Applejack says, hey guys, I'm Apple Whiskey. I want you to come over here to bitter, okay? Bitter but dry fruit land, orchard fruit and bitter, tannin, oak, age. And the three things pull it in separate directions as a way to make it in perfect balance. It's wonderful. JW wants to know how drunk am I. I would say I'm at about a 7. Maybe an 8. Maybe it's an 8. So I'm going to answer a few questions, but I'm not going to make any more drinks. I've been flagged by the lady I live with. How's everybody holding up down there? How's everybody holding up at their homes? You're all under, I assume, well, actually, I don't know. States are different. Some of you are under shelter at home. Can you make something with grappa mandorla? I suppose if I had some grappa mandorla, I could, but I don't have any grappa mandorla. So. Oh, right on. Yeah. Some of you guys are at home. Some of you guys, I assume you're all at home. Jeez, I hope you're not driving listening to my show. No, but you're all under shelter at home orders for the most part, right? Right? Or some kind of a quarantine. Anything left in there? I'll take what I can get. So how are you all holding up? How are you guys doing? Working from home and bored. Skooma, playing Team Fortress 2 and drinking. Actually, thank you for the stream. I have been out of work, barman, had nothing to do. Well, Mark Mulvena, you know what, man? Let me talk about that for a second. Because you're an out-of-work barman, let me talk about the USBG Corona-19 Relief Fund. So the U.S. Bartenders Guild is issuing grants, and if you are an out-of-work bartender or server or barback or person who works at a place that has a liquor license, I implore you, please, for your own sake, apply for a grant from the USBG. They are issuing bridge grants to help you make your bills, to help you stay afloat until some kind of federal relief or assistance comes through. I'm hoping that something happens there very soon, because we are in bad trouble. The people who make our drinks, who work in our bars, you may not realize this or not, but our minimum wage in America, it has this idea that servers are going to make more money on tips. And so for servers, minimum wage is, if I'm not mistaken, $2.13 an hour or $2.30 an hour. My God, that's a joke. Craig, I'll tell you how you get a grant. You apply at USBG. Please, if you're a barback, you should be qualified, okay? To get this grant. They are running, the payments should be coming this week. That's what they told me. They have been acquiring. They've had a lot of applications. They built up an army of volunteers to assay and assess and parse those applications, to go through them and figure out who gets what. Hopefully that is happening, and it is happening rapidly, because people who missed a shift of work, or as bar people have missed all of their shifts of work, they have no cash. And so unless they're on rent strike, unless they're on some kind of assistance program from their landlord, the landlord is letting it go, they're going to have a hard time making their bills. And everybody's going to have a hard time making their bills, but certainly our shift workers, our service people in the bars, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. It is very, very difficult for them. The U.S. Bartenders Guild is issuing grants right now to people who work in the production, preparation, and service of alcohol, spirits, alcohol at restaurants and bars that have a liquor license, in order to help them stay afloat until some kind of federal assistance comes through. So if you are looking for a worthy cause or charity to back during this time of unprecedented hardship for all people, the USBG is certainly a worthy cause. Here in America, there's really no safety net for these people who have a minimum wage, a reported wage of about $2.13 an hour. It's just whatever they get from unemployment isn't going to cut it. So I encourage you to give as much as you can to the USBG. And now, of course, please do not give to the point where you are injuring yourself. Only if you're in a position to give. If make sure that you have your needs seen to first. You don't do anybody any favors by making yourself destitute in this kind of a case. It's a rough time for everybody, and obviously we're all going to need some kind of help here. And I believe and I trust that's going to happen. So, but in the meantime, some people truly live shift to shift. Forget paycheck to paycheck, shift to shift. A bad Saturday under normal conditions means not making rent this month. And for a lot of people, there are no Saturdays left. So, if you are a person who enjoys a good drink, or even if you're not, I encourage you, do whatever you can to help out folks through the U.S. Bartenders Guild, the USBG COVID-19 Relief Fund. Link is currently on screen. They are getting approved via Tiltify right now. We're going to be doing work to promote this cause, basically for the duration, and hopefully through Tiltify. This has been an enormously rewarding and fun stream to share with you guys. Certainly, Caroline R. says nurses work paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, absolutely. We all are. I mean, I don't disagree, and certainly they're on the front lines of defeating is maybe the wrong word. Confronting this menace, this COVID-19. And we all have to make choices about where best to send our charitable dollars. And that's a personal choice that you have to make for yourself. Nurses, doctors, these people are without a doubt more than deserving. I just want to raise the issue that there are a lot of people in America who have been very recently, very surprisingly, put out of work, for whom there really is no safety net in place. And I mean that absolutely, truly. I mean, honestly, like, we got interested in this. I got interested in this because people were messaging me directly, like, what do I do, Greg? How do I live? I don't have a job anymore. And I don't know when I'm going to have a job again. And so, yeah, I think it's a very real thing. Boy, oh boy, I gotta tell you, that very simple formula is perfect. Off topic. So I encourage you, if you're able to, if you're looking for a place to spend your money. I mean, and there's other causes. There are. I'm just, from where I'm at, from what How to Drink's perspective is, this is a worthy one. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. One thing I wanted to say too, if you liked what you saw here today, this is kind of what I do at Twitch. Yeah, some of it is gaming. I know that there's a perception out there that Twitch is about gaming. That is sort of true, but doesn't have to be. There's a lot of other stuff happening on Twitch. So if you like this, if you like How to Drink Live, I am doing this many days a week over at twitch.tv/Greg from HDD. So I encourage you to check that out. I've had a few to drink tonight, and I feel like I might go play some Call of Duty Warzone tonight after I have dinner and put my kid to bed. So if you are interested in hanging out with me a little longer and you're into this, I hope that you will pay attention to my Twitch, because I should be streaming tonight over there. We will see. Excuse me. A bottle just decided to make a lot of noise. Yeah, we will probably be playing Call of Duty Warzone tonight, but I can't say that for sure. Please sing, says OLG. Well, we'll come up with something for our outro. But yeah, if you're into this, I encourage you to check out twitch.tv/Greg from HDD. I'm doing this all the freaking time over there, guys. This is like, I built a whole studio and apparatus for this. YouTube Live is awesome. I am super happy to be here on YouTube, but I do this all the time on Twitch. You guys should join me on Twitch. It's a lot of fun. We're mixing drinks. We are playing games. We are talking about the news. We're doing all kinds of things on there. And I'm interacting directly with my fans, with the people who are watching the show, and it's just been wonderful. So I hope to see you over at Twitch tonight, probably tonight. And I also hope that you will support the USBG, doing very important work in providing bridge grants, gratis. There's no payback to people who are at the front lines of our service industry, making the drinks you love. One thing I keep thinking about is that these people live shift to shift, not job to job, not week to week, not paycheck to paycheck, but literally shift to shift. One bad shift means that they've got to pick which bills they pay this month. And now there are no shifts. I don't have a graphic for it, but we've been kicking around the idea of hashtag shift to shift. And I think that is a valid and worthy cause. So think maybe about what you might have spent out this month and donate it to the USBG, who are doing the important and worthy work of distributing it back to the people who are now out of work due to Corona. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Again, I'll probably be on Twitch later. And until then, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I want to thank you for being the best fans in the world, for making this show possible, making my dreams come true, making life worth something. I hope that you are all sheltered in place with people you love, and cozy, warm, and maybe just a little bit tipsy as we all ride out this this pandemic. I don't know what else to call it. And I want to thank you for being a friend. Just like the theme song, the Golden Girl says, thank you for being a friend. We're going down the road and back again. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, the biggest present would be from me to you, with a tag in a bow that said, thank you for being a friend. I think I got the lyrics a little bit wrong there. But I've had like 5 drinks, so you're going to have to let that go, guys. What is the gambler? Meredith says, what is the gambler? Everyone wants me to sing the gambler. The Gambler, that's a Kenny Rogers song. Let's see if I can see something here. Hold on a second. I was all about to push the end stream button. Give me 1 minute, guys. Am I drunk? Yes, I am. Now, The Gambler, that's a song by Kenny Rogers. Oh, my bad. So it's E, A, my wife is yelling down the stairs that I'm just embarrassing myself. Maybe we should keep the ukulele out of this. Well, the long and short of it is that you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and you got to know when to run. But that is the end of the show. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and forcing me to drink all of these drinks. Freebird. Oh God, it's happening. The chat is exploding. Well, if you want to see me embarrass myself with the ukulele, that happens over on Twitch, and I will see you there. Possibly even tonight. But otherwise, I hope that you will do your best, your utmost to support the USBG, the people who prepare the drinks, create the hospitality and the environment that you crave and that you love, and that you are sheltering in place and remaining indoors and practicing social distancing, because we're all going to get through this thing together, guys. I know we will. I really do. I believe in you. I believe in all of us. We can do this together. But thank you so much for tuning in to How to Drink Live. We will do this again probably next week, roughly around the same time. I'll keep you guys apprised of that. Later this week, I've got a pre-recorded episode of How to Drink. It has been the utmost pleasure to hang out with you all here at How to Drink. And since I brought the ukulele out, oh boy. Oh boy. I probably should do that when I'm so drunk. Well, we made a whole bunch of drinks tonight. I've shot basically 6 episodes of How to Drink back to back without taking a break. So I'm drunker than I'm used to being. But Joker Boy Jordan says, imagine being married to this magnificent specimen. I'm saying that up the stairs. Freebird, I couldn't even if I wanted to. Zach Brooks says, my guy. Anonymous 1C4 says, drink some water. Pilot Free says, God damn it, this is a great channel. Thanks everybody for the hard work. Guys, you are what makes this channel so great. You really are. So thank you again. Support the U.S. Bartenders Guild and their COVID-19 relief grant. They need your help. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. It has been a joy. If you are into this kind of thing, I do it all the time on Twitch. The link is right down here at twitch.tv/Greg from HGD. And I feel like if nothing gets in my way, I might play a little Call of Duty Warzone tonight. Well, anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in, helping me make some great drinks, and I hope you had a great time watching. It has been an absolute joy. And as I said before, remain indoors, shelter in place. My kid is right over there yelling at me, Dad, Dad, Dad. I don't know what she wants. What do you want, Sydney?
I want my guitar back.
What do you want?
My guitar back.
You want your guitar back? This is not your guitar. I've never even let you touch this ukulele.
Say goodbye.
Okay. The wife wants me to get off the internet. So thank you all so much. I hope to heck that you are in a place that is safe and warm and cozy, and that you are around people that you love and whom love you. So we're all doing the best we can. Remember, please remember that beyond your health and your social needs, there really is. There's nothing out there. There is nothing out there that needs you specifically to show up. It's gonna wait, man. It's gonna wait. Okay? Think of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. See to the people around you. Be the person you need to be to the people around you, and sit tight. We're gonna ride this out, and we're all gonna be okay. And I will see you not only on the other side, but I'll see you on Twitch, and I'll see you later on this week with another episode of How to Drink. So thank you guys so much. Good night. I don't have a clever outro. And I don't have people to bounce one off of. So that's it. It's just going to be earnest and sincere. Be good to each other. Be excellent to each other, but from a distance. Okay? Thank you.